Hello, honourable gentlemen. I'm very low down. Let me fix that. Fuck. Okay. So, I didn't stream yesterday. Planned to, didn't. Life of a procrastinator. My audio is finally not fucking ass. So, had no idea it was terrible last stream. So, hopefully, it's less tragic now. I don't even know what the problem was. I kind of just put the setting to the same setting that I was already using, and then it worked. So, thanks for that one, Streamlabs. Appreciate it. Ethan Klein. You either love him or you hate him. He's like Marmite or whatever American equivalent there is. The New England Patriots, something. I don't know. We'll be discussing the man today. The man, the myth, the legend, or not, depending on what kind of side you fall on that. Very divisive, especially as of late. Again, depending on what camp you're in, whether you're like a Hasanabi fan or if you're a Ethan Klein fan, or even just politically where you stand, because a lot of it has been about Israel-Palestine. So I'm going to open the video up with a stunning and brave take that whichever side isn't killing people is the one that I support, which, as of January 21st, 2025, there has been a ceasefire. So that's both sides. So hooray, hurrah, claps all around. I today am watching a video about how Ethan can't litigate public opinion, which on the face of it is like fully agree. Just because someone has an opinion, you can't sue them. But something's telling me, based on what I know about the whole Ethan Klein situation and some of the people in the thumbnail, that I'm not going to fully agree, which might be a hot take, but fucking everyone's wrong about everything. So I'm wrong, you're wrong, she's wrong, he's wrong. But yeah, I don't really know what the fuck I'm waiting for. So my browser seems to not want to work, so that's great. Is it this one? I'm working on it, guys. I'm working on it. Where is it? This one. Look at me, so good. I'm gonna make that bigger for the those that are visually impaired and whatnot. So forgive me for literally doing maintenance in the middle of this. Okay, that's too big. That's what she said. So without further ado, let's get into watching some shit, reacting to some shit, having good vibes. I should have got a drink. An alcoholic one, mainly, because a lot of this stuff makes me want to not be sober. So, ooh, I have a monster. We're in luck. Fuck me. Okay. So it is 8:25 where I am. So any yawns, I'm going to fucking nip in the bud right now. Don't want them. They're illegal. Monster, by the way, not an ad, but it is the gamer's drink. If you drink any other energy drink, you're not a true gamer. And no, you can't overrule that by saying the gamer word. That's not a rule that I follow. So, yeah, let's just fucking watch. It's been fucking, I don't know, 5 minutes of me yapping. So, let's actually finally hear what she has to say.
Dear Ethan Klein, you can't litigate public opinion.
True, true, true. Agree so far. What could possibly go wrong?
Ethan Klein, a content creator who I have had a huge disdain for since the beginning of time.
Okay. She's wrong off the bat. Some of those old Ethan Klein videos, let me see if I can pull a banger up. I don't know. H3. Oh, look, it's me. It's because I'm my biggest fan. Vape Nation, like, that video alone is like legendary status. So hating the man from the beginning of time seems like a bit of a reach, especially when he's such a pillar in that like early mid 2010s YouTube. No, you can't hate him for that, and if you hate him for that, then you don't have a sense of humor. And if you say that my sense of humor is bad because you don't agree with it, then a big fucking fat no you to that one, because Vape Nation, dude,
has recently been caught up in numerous different controversies that more recently have shifted into tense political territory. A brief TLDR on this is that Ethan Klein is Jewish and his wife is Israeli. His wife, Hila Klein, who runs the company Teddy Fresh, once worked for the IDF.
Which is mandated by Israeli like law as being a citizen of Israel. You need to do that. So I hope she says that, because that's like red flag number one if she doesn't.
Since the more recent popularization of
She doesn't. Okay.
the Israel versus Palestine genocide, and I'm calling it a popularization because this has been going on for quite some time now. I think it's like over 70 years. Ethan Klein's views on Israel, Palestine,
Well, they only just started publicly shooting each other and like making a big deal out of it. So
Hamas October 7th, as well as the fallout between him and his once friend Hassan Abi, of which they both had a podcast called Leftovers together, has kind of divided and split his audience, leading to Ethan Klein losing quite a few subscribers, as well as alienating himself within the YouTube community. Now, let me make this clear. People are 100% entitled to their opinion, as well as Ethan Klein. So today, I really
sorry guys, sorry. Ignore me, just doing streamer things, just admin things.
I don't want to delve into the politics of it all, because quite frankly, I know where I stand and I don't feel like I need to qualify that to anyone. Free Palestine until the wheels fall off. However, Ethan Klein has been extremely vocal about his position, to the point that it has become a place of contention for quite a lot of his viewers, and has caused him to lose a lot of fans that have now landed themselves on the H3 Snark Reddit. The H3 Snark...
Any Snark Reddit users, big one is H3 Snark. Another big one, Travis and Taylor. Any people that frequent Snark Reddits are just really fucking cringe. And if you were one of the fucking 2 people that caught my last stream because I privated it because of the glaring fucking technical problems, yeah, Snark is just cringe. It's the worst thing to be, is cringe, and it's another form of a parasocial relationship. Just because you don't like that person, them existing and you having a reaction about that is pretty fucking parasocial to me. So
Credit is a Reddit that was formed around the time of the Trishy Land saga. If you are unaware of the Trishy Land saga, as well as the Trishy's Fishies, Frenemies 3, Frenemies 15, and how the fallout of the Frenemies podcast...
Frenemies was fucking iconic. Trisha Paytas, she's had her moments, but Frenemies was a good fucking watch at the very least. So yeah, that's all I have to fucking say about that.
Literally birthed this subreddit as a direct response to the harassment.
Also, why am I not surprised that Trisha Paytas birthed the H3 Snark Reddit? Or Trisha Paytas fans birthed it. I'm not surprised by that. I called myself a fan at one point, but they seem just like the kind of people that would have a really horrible reaction to their internet parents breaking up.
That Trisha Paytas has faced at the hands of Ethan Klein's audience. I have about 50-11 videos, girl. I'll put a playlist somewhere on the screen. I have 50-11 videos. If there is one thing I have been consistent of, it has been my disdain for Ethan Klein.
50-11 of them?
Okay? But essentially what I'm saying is that there is a whole law that surrounds this whole situation. But I felt like it was important to know that Ethan Klein's most recent discussions surrounding Israel and Palestine has definitely seen an increased boost in the H3 Snark Reddit, one that I have not seen before. Because again, he is creating...
But a lot of it is just criticism for the fact that Ethan's Jewish, which is crazy, which he has receipts for, and if I need to get into them, I'll show the receipts. But I don't think calling Hassan Piker out for interviewing a terrorist is a bad play. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't like platforming terrorists, and I don't think other people should. But yeah, a lot of it is just people hating Jewish people, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, I'm okay. I'll hear her out.
A lot of quote-unquote fallen fans. However, in my last Ethan Klein video, which I think was about 2 months ago, we left off talking about the Jimmy Lee situation. A member of Ethan Klein's goof gang who was found to have been having some inappropriate relationships with some of Ethan Klein and H3H3 fans, as well as a staff member. The situation got so bad that Dan screamed at him on the podcast, and Ethan Klein said something to the effect of, "I was trying to protect you." And a lot of people were questioning, why are you trying to protect an alleged predator?
You call dudes sexy when you hit on girls. I'm married.
You're a liar. You're lying. Okay. You're straight up lying, dude. You are a liar.
I'm sorry, Jimmy. This is why I didn't want. I was protecting you.
Yeah,
well, little did we know 2 months ago that Jimmy Lee would become somewhat of an instrumental part of the present and current drama. So as you...
As someone that knows what the drama is, I don't know that that's quite true. I mean, Jimmy just kind of existed during that, but everything that's come out is just, to me, until I see any more that disproves my point, has just kind of been someone that went on the show, had a really good experience at the time, said they had a really good experience, got to plug all of their stuff that they wanted to plug, and then years after the fact said that it was a horrible time and they take everything they said back, blah blah blah, which, like, is fine. You're allowed to change your stance on your viewpoint of something and how you experience something, but this one's a bit egregious to me, so I'm really curious to see what she has to say about it, because I think it's a bunch of hokey, I think it's a bunch of hoopla, I think it's a bunch of caca and wee-wees.
You guys know, Ethan Klein, H3 Podcast, everyone, including myself, girl, I've been away for a hot minute. We all take a break around Christmas time. Everybody's got to take a break.
Genuinely, me too, by the way. Like, I'm not just saying that as like a little joke, a little meme. I've not watched the H3 Podcast in a few years. I think the last thing that I kind of religiously watched was the podcast he had with his mom, because that was really cute, and we learned about butterflies, and like it was just good vibes and rainbows and happy smiles. So yeah, I've also been away for a minute, but kind of the reason I wanted to start streaming in the first place is when I see some shit that I want to be able to point at it no matter my allegiance and say, hey, that's some shit. That's not great. And this situation that she's about to get into is one of those some shit situations for me. So yeah, I'm curious to see where she stands on it, because I know where I stand on it, and it's not great for the what's the word? The plaintiff, the accuser. So what I do.
However, during Ethan Klein's break, he ended up having two very notable videos become popular.
They were both
and
awful,
start discussion
by the way.
on social media
Both.
about the integrity
Both.
of Ethan Klein. We have Aubrey, a TikTok content creator who is a little person who speaks retro.
I want to say this right now, before anyone immature watches this, okay? Which is none of you, because everyone that watches me is very mature, and we're well-balanced, very hinged individuals. Any short jokes that I make are completely coincidental. which might sound like complete BS, but I don't want to stoop to that level, no pun intended. If someone's saying some shit, I don't care if you're 3'6" or 7'6". Like, dumb is dumb, no matter what the height. So,
respectively, about his appearance on the H3H3 podcast and how he felt that he was used as a joke and a bit. And then we have Mika's Rhetoric, who made a video that didn't become popularized until Nicholas Diorio began to speak about it. And Nicholas Diorio has been sucking the actual skin off Ethan Klein's peen. And no, that's not a circumcision joke. It is Nicholas Diorio literally having the mouth of a...
Oh, my soundbite, no! Thank you.
Dyson Hoover. Now, Ethan Klein claimed in his hiatus that he was going to be destroying these content creators.
I need to see what Nick Diorio says about the gay allegations, because that was crazy. That was heavy. Accused of giving fellatio to one Ethan Klein. I need to know. Nick, your silence will be deafening. Speak up!
When he returns. However, I couldn't help but be left with the feeling that Ethan Klein was speaking about these controversies that quite frankly are just mundane and boring in nature. Like, oh, somebody made a critique video about me and I don't like it, so I'm gonna talk about them. Where.
If you publicly make a video about someone, they are fully in their right to respond to that. Like, I feel like I should have more to say about it, but like it's a pretty short point, because to me it's so obvious that if someone's gonna go on main and say, yo Sam, everybody's wrong, poopy head, stinks like shit, then of course I'm gonna fucking speak my mind on that. I should have every right. And the fact that people think that you couldn't speak on it is silencing the victim, who might not be the victim, who might be the aggressor the whole time. But I'm so into silencing people. Okay.
To steer attention away from a very hypocritical situation that Ethan Klein has found himself in, which honestly is more questionable when it comes to Ethan Klein's morality and integrity, and the literal brand that he built himself on, that he built his channel on, that he saved YouTube copyright policy with. Hey, hi. So it's literally...
That's not an exaggeration, by the way. So... if anyone doesn't know about the Matt Haas bald guy lawsuit, basically Ethan made one of his commentary videos back when he used to do those, about this really cringe guy that would do free running videos and pick up women. He was like a pickup artist before those were a thing. And yeah, he called it cringe, and his response to that, the guy who made the video, was to sue Ethan. So... this is a bit of a full circle moment, but suing somebody because they didn't like your video and saying that they abused your copyright, and in the process establishing a really good precedent for fair use law, is a bit of an L. Bit of a major one. You dropped this king. Yeah, it's not the vibe, as the kids say. So yeah, it's a bit of a false equivalency if she tries to make that, because Ethan's lawsuit was pretty major, and did a lot of good things for a lot of people. I'm pretty confident that it's quoted in a lot of legal textbooks now as like a, you know, an exhibit A for fair use law. So yeah, it was a pretty big win for Ethan, to put it plainly. Kind of changed YouTube forever. She's not exaggerating about that one.
Like several hours later, and I've been editing, as you can see. I look crazy, I look raggedy, but I completely forgot to tell you that I'm launching something. In a couple of weeks, we're thinking towards the end of January / the beginning of February, I am launching my very own podcast. I have a team, I have a co-host, like the whole nine, the whole shebang. I'm super duper excited to bring this.
Like, respectfully, don't care. Like, I just don't care. Don't care. Don't give a shit. Don't give a fuck. Don't give two asses nor a poop. To be honest.
This video
Okay,
will
but
be
what was that about,
structured, as well as have
What was that
a
about, for
Google
real?
document in the description box down below for you guys to take a look at, so you can see what me and my researchers have been able to find. I don't usually link the Google Docs it is that we use, however, I really don't want Ethan Klein to be able to use this as an opportunity to either say that my content is sloppy, like he did to Mika's rhetoric, that it lacks structure, like he did to Mika's rhetoric, or that it's not researched, like he did to Mika's rhetoric.
It was.
So let's take a look at the current drama.
It
with
was
Ethan
all a bit
Klein
ass.
and how he is abusing copyright law in order to silence his critics. In today's video,
If it's copyright law, that's
dear
crazy.
Ethan
If it's
Klein,
slander and
you
libel,
can't
not so
litigate
much.
public opinion.
I'm very appreciative though that she put her receipts in the description because
Okay, so
I may be
as we know,
taking a
the
look.
H3H3 podcast took a short hiatus around Christmas time. I imagine to spend time with your family, all of that good stuff. And during this hiatus, a content creator called Aubrey Smalls, who describes himself
Praying
as
it's a
a
stage name.
historian as well as a
That's not even a short
filmmaker
joke. I'm
with a
praying it's a
TikTok
stage
following
name.
of
If there's a little person with the surname Smalls, then that is the most unfortunate look I've ever heard of in my whole life. Like the bullying's just there. It's like my surname being gay. Like, hello.
of over 180,000 followers, made a video speaking about an experience it is that he had on a podcast.
Also, I don't know why, but the vibe of her saying he has 180,000 followers was like it was a small channel. 180 of anything is a lot. 180,000 people is a lot of people. So this is no fucking 4 subscriber YouTube channel like I am. Bear in mind, I won't cry if somebody has something to say about, you know, the shit I put out. So someone with 180,000 subscribers or followers or whatever the fucking TikTok degens measure themselves in. Yeah, that's not a small number of people. So it's not an excuse to not be able to respond to somebody. To me. Thoughts?
And why he is a little bit more selective when it comes to the podcasts that he chooses to go on to. Now, whilst he didn't say the specific podcast's name, it was pretty clear to the audience what podcast it was that Aubrey was speaking about. So in the TikTok video that went semi-viral on TikTok, Aubrey speaks about going
The TikTok video went viral on TikTok. Great observation, thank you.
onto the H3H3 podcast and how he felt like he was used as a bit. Now, Aubrey is a little person. He is a person with dwarfism who attempted to get onto the H3 podcast, a podcast that he was a fan of at the time, to potentially educate the extremely bigoted Jimmy Lee on why his jokes about people with dwarfism are inappropriate and just downright not funny.
Okay, so far we stand. You know, disability awareness, great. Treating people like equals, great. You know, maybe I have a woke mind virus to say that if someone's short, that they're still a human, and making jokes at their expense isn't cool. But it gets worse. It gets so much worse, to the point where I can't really agree with him anymore. So it's only downhill from here.
So there was a podcast that I was on one time, and it was a horrible experience, and it's why I'm never going to go on another podcast again, and no, I will not be naming the podcast.
No, because why would he name the podcast? It's not like anyone's gonna, you know, find out who it is, and you know, he kind of said that as like a grandstand. Oh, I won't say the name of the podcast. I'm not trying to drag anybody. Meanwhile, he goes on to say extremely niche details about the podcast that only apply to that podcast. But yeah, he's not going to name the name of the podcast. He's not trying to bully anybody, you know. Not like Ethan Klein, who's a big bully. He's a big mean bully.
even though some of you definitely know what I'm talking about. But they had a segment one time with the podcast owner's dad and some comedian.
Daddy?
Who, mind you, the same podcast is now accusing of SA years later. But the comedian...
which is good, by the way. It's good that they're not, you know, kind of sticking by their guy just for existing. If he's done wrong, then I would hope that they call him out and not endorse it. You know?
And one day was talking in a bit about how he has a phobia of little people. And they were going on...
I've heard about this phobia. Very common, actually. Like, extremely common. Okay, not extremely. But it's, like, notable enough for it has a name. I don't know the name, but... Okay, I'm not trying to fucking talk on my hole, so I'll look it up.
and on about...
Shush! Silence! Okay, I ain't saying all that. But, like, it's got a name. And it exists. It's not trypophobia. Because everyone that has trypophobia, I think you're full of shit. Point out there now. Oh, I'm scared of my waffle. It has holes in it. Okay. Grow up. Like, be an adult. No, it's a lot of hokey.
Around dwarfism in general. So I was like, oh my god, this is the perfect time to educate people. We love a good educational moment, especially as a viewer at the time, with dwarfism. So I wrote on their subreddit, I was like, hey, I'm a filmmaker and educator. I would love to come on and educate you guys and talk about the dwarfism community and specifically the phobia of little people, since I know that's such a gray area for a lot of people. So the post blew up. All the fans of the show were like, we would love to see Aubrey on the show. They reached out, and then next thing you know, I'm in the waiting room the next episode to talk to the comedian and the podcast owner's dad. And
bear in mind, one of the big points is that he was taken by surprise. If you're in a Zoom waiting room watching a live stream, I don't think something tells me you're not taken by surprise by that. Thoughts, Mama? Thoughts, Boo?
thought this was gonna be a educational little moment, but I was coming on to be a bit. They essentially had, leading up to my appearance, a whole compilation of this guy, all the times that he said publicly on the internet that he's afraid of little people, and just a lot of derogatory jokes about little people. And then they were like, and drum roll, we have a little person to surprise you! And they brought me in with basically no warning.
Now, in this section of the video, Aubrey states that he was brought in with no warning. Now, this one sentence has become like a huge cause for contention when it comes to discourse online, with people assuming that Audrey meant that he was not aware that he was going to be going on to the podcast to confront Jimmy Lee as well as Ethan Klein's father, who both seem to equally share this really bigoted point of view of little people. However, when you put it together with context and actually seeing the footage of the altercation that took place on the H3 podcast, you will actually find that the people who had no warning was Jimmy Lee and Ethan Klein's father. They were unaware that Aubrey was going to be having this discussion with them. So to me, it was somewhat understandable that Aubrey would kind of feel a little bit slighted about the fact that the guests weren't prepared. And I genuinely believe that the context was correct. Aubrey was brought in very much like, well, guess what? We've got a little person for you, and they're gonna talk to you about why you shouldn't discriminate against them.
Okay.
To your face. It was quite clear.
Okay. Lot to decompress. So they were talking about little people. Correct me if I'm wrong, but people with dwarfism are very on topic for discussions about little people. So the fact that they brought someone in that was directly relevant, it's not quite a swerve ball. Sure, they were surprised, but it's not a, you know, It's not a gotcha moment. Okay. They were surprised. But, bro, my brain is not braining right now. So I think I need more Monster, first of all, because it's a gamer drink and I'm not sponsored. Yeah, it's not like they were talking about, I don't know, lemonade. And then they said, yo, you know what you said a month ago about people with dwarfism? Dwarf! Here's dwarf! They're saying, here's someone with dwarfism to talk about this. It's not out of the blue, if that makes sense. It's still very on topic, whether he was a surprise or not. So it's not like they were flashbang with something completely unrelated to what they were talking about. So, yeah, I don't know. It gets worse. So, like, it might seem like I'm nitpicking right now, but it's all going to add up. Trust me.
To me, at least from the outset, that this was less of an educational moment as it was a moment of entertainment. It's that same entertainment value that a lot of people felt when Gideon went to the most racist town in the US to confront racists as a black man. Like, realistically, bigoted people like this aren't going to find any kind of common ground. So the altercation is basically seen as entertainment for the audience as well as for the people who hold these very narrow-minded views.
Okay. I don't want to school a person of colour about people of colour. Daryl Davis, my dude. Jump scare warning. Is a black person. Right. Daryl. His skin is not white. For anyone unaware. He spoke to KKK members. Right. Are you following me? And a lot of them he converted away from the Klan. And the way he did that was by being a black person who, in their eyes, was cool. You know, they actually met someone from the group they hated and said, why am I making this generalization about a lot of people when I've met one of them and he's a very nice guy? So a lot of them completely denounced the whole, you know, racist existence that they'd been living. And then completely changed their outlook. They, like I said, left the Klan. They sent him their robes and shit just because, like, they thought, like, I don't need these anymore. Like, I don't know what you want to do with them, but, like, if you want them, have them, because that's not what I identify as anymore. So he has, like, a whole collection of this shit. So Gideon going into a racist neighborhood and talking to people that hate black people. Again, Gideon is a black person, for anyone unaware. Again, don't want to jump scare anyone. But this man is not white. Yet him going into a racist, all-white neighborhood to talk to people and discuss, it's not like... You know, who else are they meant to learn from? Are they meant to live in, like, an echo chamber where every person they talk to is white and then realise, you know, there's black people, they're actually kind of cool? That's not going to happen if they're only talking to white people. Like, a black person has to talk to them at some point. Even if it's a white person saying, like, black people, not too bad. They still have to experience it for themselves, kind of thing. So bringing in someone with dwarfism to tell people that hate people with dwarfism that dwarves aren't bad is not this insane radical idea. Like it's a good thing. No? Maybe? Thoughts? I don't know.
And the whole bit was basically just about having a little person go against two guys who were just talking about how little people, what are they going to do? Kick you in the shins? And then brought me in. And it just really solidified.
Okay, but that is a dad joke. he was talking to two dads. Like, hating little people or not, dads are going to be dads. They're going to be unfunny as fuck. But now the older that I get, the more funny I find them, which is kind of alarming. But it's still not a very funny joke. Not funny and not original. But like they're dads, dude. Like, just let them do their thing. They'll die out soon, and then like the people with the woke mind virus will take over, and then we'll start seeing people as equals. It's like these old people where they point and say like, these people can vote. How crazy! They won't be able to vote for long, mama. That they've probably got that last will written up, that last draft. So just let them be wild for the last few years of their life, and then if no one goes to their funeral, no one goes to their funeral.
Identifies the fact that, one, I'm a class act. Because y'all, I wanted to cuss them out, but I do believe in digital footprints. And mind you, this was in front of like 50,000 people watching live. And because what you're not going to do is pretend like just because I have dwarfism that you can suddenly start making jokes as if I'm not a grown man who pays taxes and like has a life. Shame on you, weirdo. But two, again, I'm an educator. I do believe in trying my best. And I did what I could. They weren't willing to listen. They weren't wanting to listen. The whole crew was just laughing the whole time.
They did listen, by the way. And this isn't speculation. Or there's, it's a podcast appearance. It's pretty documented that by the end of it, the thoughts that they had at the start of it weren't the same. And if we need to, I'll pull that shit right up because it's just untrue. It's untrue.
And it was like an out-of-body experiences. I definitely disassociated for maybe 30 seconds because I was like, it's very strange watching something that you consumed for so long and then finally being involved in that circle and then just realizing you're there to be a joke. Very weird thing. And it really, now I'm so conscious of what I say yes to and the things that I say and participate in.
Okay. I'm curious what he thought he was there for. Because was this not explained that these people, make these anti-dwarfism jokes and you're here to educate them? Was that not established? Because it seems pretty established to me. So the fact he was surprised that they made jokes is kind of crazy. Because was he says he was a fan, and he says that he put his name forward to educate them. So did he not know who these people were when he volunteered? Because I don't think that's even possible, let alone the case. He wasn't completely blindsided by the opinions these people had. And as disappointing as it might be, I don't think he should have been blindsided by the fact that they made jokes. But again, he was there as, he says, a teachable moment, which is great. We stand, we live, we vibe. In a club, we all fam, etc. But yeah, who the fuck did he think he was talking to? Like, he knew his audience.
And the only podcast I listen to now, because I ain't listening to that anymore, is Do We Know Them? Because we love the girlies, and one of them actually has a child with a disability and talks so openly and respectfully about that.
Slay.
And then also I listen to my own podcast because I love the sound of my own voice.
I don't. I'm not a fan. Like, you do you live life, live, laugh, love, but I could not listen to you for 2 hours, let's just say that.
Sorry, some of us have soothing, calming voices that's enjoyable to listen to.
Not you! Not you! You are not one of those people, mama.
But, don't worry about me, though. I'm doing better things. At the time, I had just started working on my documentary, and I was also told them that I would love to talk to people about that and why I was making a documentary about little people that actually hired little people behind the camera and in front of the camera in the first place,
Was he not perpetuating that then? By going on a show where he knows that the hosts on it say, I'm scared of little people and all that. Like, I get that it was an educational moment, but he can't talk about that while also saying, well, the show that I went on, actually I stood against the whole thing the whole time. When you volunteered to go on the show, if you stand against everything that they stand for, don't go on. Like, you can't talk about the representation of little people in the media and saying, ooh, I'm scared of little people. And then go on a show where people are saying, ooh, I'm scared of little people.
Time to reach our goal, but we finally did a couple months ago in the summer, which was really exciting. And also, I'm still hot, so, and the podcast owner now is.
Not my type. Not my type. I'm going to just leave that at that and not touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Was crashing out on the internet publicly, so how things change.
Now, it's clear that Aubrey was looking retrospectively at what took place all those years ago and basically seeing the current controversy that Ethan Klein has found himself in and his subsequent crash out as some karmic justice. However, Ethan Klein, during his hiatus, would go onto Instagram to say the following: enough with these weak-ass call-outs, trying to cash out on H3 hate. This shit's not paying out anymore. Fuck this dude. We have insane amounts of receipts to disprove everything. I see you trying to erase shit too. Don't.
Yeah, he did delete like posts and stuff that he made at the time saying how great his experience in the show was. Which, if you're someone that's changing your stance on something, I'd just own it personally and say, you know, at the time I thought it was really good, but after sitting on it some, I realised that it wasn't so great for me. Again, he says he's a big, you know, advocate of like internet footprints, but deleting stuff is not a good look, even if it seems to go against what you're saying right now. Just keep that shit up. Say it's how I felt at the time. Just say it with your chest. You know, I felt this way once. I don't feel that way anymore. Don't delete shit, because that's gonna make you look beyond horrible. In terms of like your point of view, and like your standpoint, and yeah, it's gonna really put a big dent in your argument. So yeah, he should have just kept that shit up, even if he didn't agree with it now, and just say, yeah, I felt this way once, I don't feel this way anymore. It is what it is. Bon appetit.
Don't worry, I have it all saved. Why the fuck would you make this video? Jake Doolittle levels of self-owning. Enjoy the new year, dipshit. Man.
We did miss the Jake Doolittle window, because it'd be very old news now. This is also old news, but this video was uploaded 9 days ago, so it's not months old or anything like that, weeks old like the Jake Doolittle shit. And I've not seen anyone talk about it, even though I'm 15 minutes in and I've had a lot to say. So yeah, it's not old news because people just keep discussing this shit, and if they're gonna keep it alive, then so am I, mama. They can't, you know, just do this shit without any pushback. So I'm here to be a voice of reason. I don't know if she's 100% right in what she's saying, which like I don't think anybody is. I think everyone says something at least slightly disagreeable. Then like I'm gonna say that. If Ethan Klein's fucked up, I'm gonna say Ethan Klein fucked up. But like right now, I'm just not seeing it. Like, are the receipts in the room with us? Is the exposé in the room with us? Because, Mama, I can't see her. Can she speak up, Marco Polo?
this dude is gonna look so effing dumb when we're back. So obvious with this comment, he's scraping for any clout he can get from this new wave of H3 hate.
Again, it is pretty transparent as well. I'm not saying it's intentional timing, but doing it while he's on a break, it's not a great look. But apparently in this household we hold the viewpoint that you're not allowed to respond to people. So maybe there's never a bad time for it, because if Ethan's not allowed to say anything, then it's, you know, the Wild West. We can just sling opinions around like they're fucking assholes and just, you know, everyone's got one, so I'm gonna just spread mine.
And he always start talking shit the minute I'm on break too. Just a little coincidence. So in response to this, and likely knowing that he was going to be featured on a segment of the H3H3 show, Aubrey decided to take to TikTok to basically explain why it is that he felt the way that he felt. As well as basically saying that the podcast was pre-recorded, that there was lots of information and context that were left out. He encourages the H3 team to show the entire recording, as well as making it known that there was frequent usage of slurs towards little people.
He's talking about the M for minute, M for Mickey Mouse, not N, M, the outdated word. Like, it was thrown around. I think they would admit first that they were, like, ignorant, the two guys on the show. But then Aubrey also slings it around if he's trying to stop use of the word. Maybe don't use it to describe yourself. If you think it's so derogatory, stop saying it. I don't know, like, I don't generally call myself like the F slur, because I'm trying to not encourage people to say that word. It's you know, it's, there are words where if you don't want them being said, then don't say them.
Everyone, I'm going to talk about this once and then we're moving on. I posted a video today about a podcast appearance that I was on 2 years ago, and although I did not disclose the name or the podcast that I was on, the viewers have figured it out. So I wanted to address the comments and questions
make it
in a
so
recent
incredibly
Instagram
hard
post
to
that
figure
Ethan
out.
Klein made about me a few minutes ago. This is a deeply personal and important topic for me, so I wanted to take some time to set the record straight and share my side of the story. There's been a lot of conversation from Ethan Klein's fans about me trying to clout chase by sharing this story, which again, never mentioned his name, and that I'm trying to capitalize off of Ethan's current situation. That couldn't be further from the truth, so I wanted to make this video to...
I mean, you did kind of describe him as crashing out and then plug your shit on his show. So I don't think the, you know, clout chasing allegations and kicking him while he's down allegations really hold any weight. Personally.
To explain everything in full context. In 2022, I was the listener of a podcast, and with one episode where they were talking about phobias and fears of little people, and proper wording for people with dwarfism. At the time, they were using slurs that most of us know are not appropriate, but I figured it would be a great opportunity to see if I could get on the show to talk about the proper verbiage and to educate people on dwarfism. As someone with dwarfism myself who experiences in-person and online harassment just because of the fact that I have a disability, I was hoping that this appearance would help bridge the gap of understanding and start some meaningful dialogue. Unfortunately, during the episode, I was subjected to ableist jokes and comments about little people that made me really uncomfortable. I kept my composure and smiled at the time. It was really hurtful, to be honest. I didn't even know how to process it in the moment, except for doing what I do best, which is putting a smile on things and trying to spin it in a positive direction. Immediately afterwards, I emailed the crew asking if I could come back on the show during a live segment to talk about what I wanted to talk about in the first place, because I was worried that just the segment we had filmed would leave a bad taste in people's mouths and make them assume that I was part of this joke that I was never keyed in on. So I was on the show again.
So he... I'm not going to say he enjoyed it, because I'm not trying to put words in his mouth, but he didn't have a big enough issue with the show to not decline going back on. If you really hate the appearance that much, it was pre-recorded. You could have said, like, you know, I wasn't a fan of that. I felt misrepresented. You know, you could have said that. It's not like it was a live stream. So, like, there were many there were many steps you could have taken to not get that shit aired out publicly. So the fact that he didn't take any of them, again, makes me kind of question why. You know, he could have. Ethan Klein subreddit is huge, and Aubrey's posts on the subreddit were huge. If he said, I was on the show, I didn't really want the appearance to come out, but they aired it anyway, you know, that would have been a big deal, and they would have not really respected his rights to, you know, kind of do what he wants to do with his own likeness. If, you know, if he doesn't want to be in some shit that makes him uncomfortable, he's fully within his right to do that, I think. So the fact that he didn't say anything at the time about, oh, don't really love that appearance, can that not go out? You know, it makes me doubt how terrible of a time he really had.
A few days later, after the segment we had pre-filmed aired, and they played it again and then had me come on to talk about it, and I just stayed positive because I was hoping that if I was positive and I was focusing on the good, that people would forget about the segment, essentially. I was hoping that by focusing on kindness and grace,
they didn't have to forget about it.
That would go farther.
They didn't have to forget about it if it didn't air. You know what I mean? You could have said that wasn't it, fam. Didn't like that. You know, it's not hard. Your funding for your project would have taken a hit because there wouldn't have been eyes on it. But like in the grand scheme, that's minor, I think. You know, if you were made to feel so uncomfortable by these people, then a hit to a Kickstarter campaign should be like, it should be nothing. And like that Kickstarter's not going anywhere. Your feelings and your experiences, they're very relevant. So the fact that he didn't say anything at the time to you know, stop the publication, it's just not a great look. It's not a great look to me.
Remember me by that as opposed to what happened during that segment. Ethan and the crew talked on the show, that episode, the live one, about how they had to edit a lot of stuff down, so I hope that maybe one day they'll release the full video so that you can see all of the jokes
the lost media, release the tapes.
Didn't even make it into the final cut. After the episode and the days following, I posted on the subreddit thanking the host and the crew for having me on because I wanted to focus on the positives.
This is after the second appearance, by the way. I'll read it out for anyone that's, I don't know, doing some shit in the background, I don't know, blind. All my blind viewers out there, I've got you. Aubrey, the person with dwarfism who called in. Thank you to Ethan, the crew, and everyone in chat for being so welcoming and respectful. And shout out to Camphor, the editing. If anyone wants to donate to our film, we have 16 days left. Dear AverageHypePeople.com. If you hated it that much, why thank Ethan and the crew and everyone for being so welcoming and respectful? The chat at the time, by the way, there's receipts of the chat and how well Aubrey was received. They were calling him Short King, which, like, it's not derogatory, so it's just kind of ironic. Iconic, not ironic, both, I guess. But like, you just wouldn't say this if you know you hate the experience entirely. And again, he's just doubling down on how good the experience was by, one, not completely nuking the first appearance, but two, being really positive, upbeat, whatever on the second episode, his second appearance, and then after that second appearance saying, yo guys, I had a really good time. Like, it makes it really hard for, I think, anyone to take him seriously when he completely reverses his opinion. And again, deleting posts like these, it's just not a great look. Again, you're entirely within your right to feel differently about something after the fact. I know I've been in some situations where you just kind of like laugh and shrug it off, and then afterwards you're like, wait, that was kind of fucked. But I didn't post on Reddit about how good those times were. You know, I didn't get a megaphone out and say, yo, that was great. So again, he could be, you know, fully correct, but it's not a great look, is kind of the point I'm trying to get at. And the receipts that Ethan shows really make him look a lot worse. So yeah, it's really hard to empathize with how bad his experience was, you know, and all of the above with everything we've watched before, when there's just so much to say that it's not coming from a fully genuine place.
Which was that the audience was actually really lovely to me, and I think really understood the message that I was trying to convey, despite having to fight people who just were refusing to see my humanity during that. I didn't want to stir up controversy because I had no followers on the internet at the time, and this podcast and the host had millions of followers, and I also hadn't fully processed what had happened since the segment just had come out. So I figured if I stayed kind and positive, that people would focus on the educational purpose of my appearance as opposed to everything else. As time went on though, I reflected on that experience more and more. I realized that these ableist jokes weren't just one-off harmless jokes. They were a part of a larger pattern of influencers on YouTube and social media using their platforms to perpetuate harmful jokes and ideologies about little people.
Now, it was quite clear to everybody that Aubrey was speaking...
Yo, he was talking for so long, I forgot I was watching her video. I just I just thought I was watching the TikToks. But yeah, being bigoted towards anyone's not great, especially when it's things outside of their control. But yeah, what the fuck? My brain is soup right now. I don't think your podcast appearance like perpetuated any kind of hate towards people with dwarfism. And again, you knew that these people had spoken about not being big fans of dwarfism, so it's not something that took you by surprise. But yeah, the fact that people are horrible towards people with dwarfism is, you know, it's tragic and it sucks. But stuff like this really does not help, which does suck for other people with dwarfism. You know, that there are going to be people with dwarfism that entirely disagree with this, his whole standpoint. But now they're kind of just going to get lumped in, which, you know, it's an unfortunate case with a lot of the things online, especially where it is just like a vocal minority. I don't know. Bigotry's not cool. There's another stunning and brave opinion from me. But yeah, it's been made very hard to empathise with the whole situation, basically.
Retrospectively, and I have to keep saying this because it seems as if nobody on the H3H3 cast can understand what it means to look backwards at something retrospectively and change their mind on positions and behaviors that took place. It's almost as if Audrey isn't allowed to change his mind about the way it is he feels about that past episode.
If you're gonna make a video about someone, at least get their name right. Like, you can't be this well researched and not even know the name of the person that you're talking about.
In 2022. Like, if we're keeping it a buck and a bean, girl, I used to be a big old hoe back in the day. There are people retrospectively I wish I never slept with. For instance, there are a lot of bigoted...
Okay. But because you retrospectively regret sleeping with them, does that mean it was rape? Because that's kind of the point that is being made. That retrospectively he changed his mind, therefore it wasn't okay. Like, you can't retroactively not consent. Like, consent is consent. It happened at the time. It's a really big false equivalency. I don't care how big of a hoe you were, it's not the same at all.
Comments and slurs that Ethan Klein has said. In the same light, there are lots of things that I'm sure that Ethan Klein retrospectively does not agree with. For instance, he retrospectively apologized to QT Cinderella for the way it is that he portrayed her on the podcast. He's made it quite clear that he doesn't agree with the behavior it is that he displayed, and he disagrees with the jovial nature of how he did that segment. So please explain to me why...
Okay, history lesson. I am Sam the historian. The QT Cinderella situation. There was a... Okay, well, first, QT Cinderella's a streamer. She's in a relationship with Ludwig, who people have thoughts about. They have thoughts about both of them. Personally, I think the Streamer Awards is really cringe and self-congratulating, which, like, you know, being proud of yourself is one thing, but hosting a whole award show is not the vibe. Anyway, QT Cinderella's a streamer. She's a woman, so she has female parts. That's relevant to the story. And there was another Twitch streamer who was watching AI videos of her doing, you know, not so savoury things, shall we say, as in being a bit of a hoe. Again, it was AI, so it was completely fabricated. But her response to it was, in short, like she'd been raped. And while it's like really gross what happened, it's not the same. If someone, you know, photoshopped my head onto fucking Johnny Sins' body, then I'm not going to have an emotional breakdown about how violated I feel. Because it's not real. It's not revenge porn. It's not sexual assault. It's literally a photo of me photoshopped onto someone else's body. And that's what the whole thing boiled down to. Everyone, well, a lot of people called her out for her reaction, Ethan Klein included. And then a lot of people lost respect for Ethan for kind of backtracking and apologising, even though her reaction was very... what's the word? I mean, it was an overreaction, basically. It wasn't. Again, it wasn't the vibe. Like, nothing happened to you, though. Nothing happened to you, love. Alright, and yeah. It was your likeness. That's it. Nothing happened to you. So, yeah. Having regret for how you covered that situation, you know, it's whatever. But you can make the argument that calling her out in the first place, you know, was a good move because she did something that rightfully was called out by acting like a victim of something a lot worse than, you know, what actually happened. Again, what happened to her, really gross. And it is, you know, it's a, you know, it's a violation, but not in the way that she made it out to be. Again, she was perfectly fine. No one touched her. No one saw her genuine nude pictures. There was no revenge porn. There was no assault. It was a video that wasn't her, and she had a breakdown over it.
Ethan Klein has the ability to retrospectively look back and disagree with past actions, but Audrey Smalls can't look back on his appearance at the podcast and not agree with the circumstances of how it took place. It's giving very much rules for me and not for thee, and it's just a H3 hypocrisy. We are very used to this by now.
Now Ethan is claiming that he has proof that I was okay with the appearance, and people are upset because I've deleted the posts today on Reddit and Instagram celebrating the appearance. And that's honestly just because those posts don't accurately represent how I feel, and I feel that they're being used to invalidate my experiences and to ignore the fact that there was a lot of ableist rhetoric going on, that the segment was harmful, regardless if people think it was a joke or not, and that those posts are not proof of anything but those moments right after the podcast where I was trying to stay positive and pivot in a more positive direction. For those calling me a clout chaser or saying that I'm hopping on a hate train because the host is currently under some controversy, that is just so far from the truth. I've been speaking about this for...
it could be untrue, and I hate the word, but the optics, you know, it's not a great look that you picked now of all times to say, yo, that Ethan Klein guy, kind of a poopy hole, kind of an asshole. You know, when he's getting so much hate, a lot of it anti-Semitic, by the way. And Ethan Klein has some things that have deserved to be hated in the past, but right now, as far as I'm aware, happy to be proven wrong. He's not done anything to really warrant crashing out. But that's just me, I guess.
For years now, and never once mentioned the name or the podcast, which would be something you would do if you were looking for clouts. This is about advocating for fairness and respect.
He didn't say the
not
name,
about
guys,
hating
so
or canceling people.
no one was going to know what
I
podcast he was
understand that
talking about.
fans of the podcast may feel defensive or upset, but I urge you to see it from my perspective as someone who is subjected to hurtful language about literally my body and the way it looks every single day, and then to have that put into a video form with 1.1 million views as of today. Just because one audience might see a set of jokes, funny or harmless, doesn't negate the fact that they can be harmful to the larger disability community. There is no timeline for when you're allowed to feel uncomfortable by a situation where, regardless if you want to admit it, ableism was perpetuated. And I think especially at the time, I think it's a very normal experience for people to have, to sometimes freeze up in the moment and go, I'm just going to play along because I just want to get out of this.
But in a conversation about ableism with ableist people, there's going to be ableist talk. Like, I don't think it was perpetuated. I think it was just spoken about. Again, saying the M word, M, for Madagascar. I mean, everyone said it, and I'm not saying that's okay, but if you're trying to teach them that that word's not okay to use, maybe refrain from using it. I don't know.
Situation, and I don't want this to be forever how people perceive me. Which again explains why I was trying to be so positive afterwards and thankful. I never want to burn bridges with anybody, which is why I thanked the crew, still thank the podcast host for allowing me the opportunity to come on. I know some people are also asking, why didn't you tell them you were uncomfortable? Why didn't you tell them to take the video down? And I would encourage you to think about power dynamics and how those come into play when someone like me, who's already marginalized and harassed and made fun of on the internet, who has no platform, telling someone with millions of followers to take a video down. And mind I tell you, I did say that I was uncomfortable with the episode.
In that case, why was this video made if you have less followers than Ethan Klein? Because by your same argument, who are you to make a video calling Ethan Klein out? Because no one's going to watch it. Meanwhile, you know, hundreds of thousands, millions of views later, a lot of people have watched it. If you're saying agreeable shit, like, I was on this podcast, I protested to it being released, but it came out anyway. I didn't feel great. I felt exploited. Who is going to side with Ethan Klein there? Again, I don't care if you're 180,000 followers, 4 followers, 0 followers. You can say, yo, that was a bad thing. And if it has legs, it's going to catch some steam.
That we filmed, which is why I wanted to come back on again to kind of start anew. How many times have you been at your job and maybe your boss or manager has said something to you that you have not agreed with or not felt comfortable with, but you didn't feel like you could tell them directly, hey, don't do that again, please? Power dynamics are a real thing, especially when it comes to influential figures. I thank the people who continue to fight against ableism. It means the world to me knowing that so many of you care so deeply about things like this and want to see an equal and inclusive world for all where nobody would find jokes about phobias of disabled people on our bodies appropriate or comedic, or something that should be platformed. And despite the comments on Reddit being made about me in an ableist way, despite the DMs and messages that I'm getting and comments on these videos, I encourage you to move with kindness in response to them, because there's not going to be any good done by fighting fire with fire. I love you guys. Keep going.
And honestly, Aubrey, I literally couldn't have said it better myself. There are numerous different...
But he fought fucking water with fire, my dude. Like, there was nothing there, yet he made the fire. He is the fire. Again, power dynamics. No, it's already an argument that gets a lot of criticism. I think there are a lot of cases where power dynamics do very much come into play. Exhibit A, Harvey Weinstein, sleep with me or you won't get this movie role. That's a pretty big major power dynamic. But there was no collateral with it. There was nothing. What happens if he said no? Does he die? No. He's gonna be fine if he says no. So the power dynamic thing doesn't really. It doesn't really stand up.
Things that have taken place in my own life that I look back on and think to myself, I wish I had no part in that. However, when Ethan Klein responded to this finally on the podcast on their comeback show, Ethan Klein's receipts of how it was all okay and he was definitely on board with everything was showing extremely heavily edited clips of the podcast show itself that Aubrey was on, as well as numerous different direct messages, emails, and correspondence between the H3 show producers and
I have
Aubrey
seen the full
prior
podcast,
to him
by the
coming
way,
onto the show.
a couple times
Again,
now.
the show where Aubrey shows up and it is the guests, Jimmy Lee and Ethan Klein's father, who are surprised by Aubrey's attendance.
And I thought this was gonna be a educational little moment, but I was coming on to be a bit. They essentially had, leading up to my appearance, a whole compilation.
That's an outright malicious lie. That's provable. I don't know why he's doing this. It's disgusting, especially considering his whole point is activism. And I feel like it was actually a wholesome, good moment. And I mean, in terms of teaching people about a prejudice against little people, that was, and to imply that wasn't the intention and that it was to bring him on and humiliate him or something, it's just a malicious, outright lie that I will prove to you. But I'm going to continue watching his video, and then I'll show you everything we've got.
Of this guy, all the times that he said publicly on the internet that he's afraid of little people, and just a lot of derogatory jokes about little people. And then they were like, and drum roll, we have a little person to surprise you. And they brought me in with basically no warning.
Why?
I mean, no warning.
Why would you say that?
That's crazy.
When it's so... there's so many receipts, dude. What are you doing?
You guys don't
This is
remember?
so
I'm talking
embarrassing.
lots.
You don't remember us dragging him in?
What does he mean, no warning?
I don't know.
We had him blindfolded and we walked him in?
The warning existed. It was in writing.
We're going to show you guys. You're going to laugh when you see all this.
What are you doing?
The part that pisses me off, though, is it's such a transparent attempt to cash in on all the people that hate me on TikTok. It's so fucking transparent, bro, that it's pathetic. It's honestly pathetic, man. And so, what I said at the time when I made a story about this is this shit, this shit's not paying out anymore. I'm not gonna sit here and let you lie about me. Fuck you, dude. Let's get to the receipts, you guys.
As he shouldn't have,
All right.
by the way. But again, apparently
Here's the original post.
We
Let's
don't
go
believe he
through
should
this.
have an opinion.
Of him saying he wanted to call in. Let's take a look. Ethan, I'm an actor with dwarfism. I'm currently making a documentary comedy special about disability hate group on YouTube that's been cyberbullying me for over a year. I would love to call in tomorrow during the Tippy Toes segment and chat about Jimmy's little people phobia and dwarfism representation. The context, by the way, was that we were talking about how fucked up of a movie Tiptoes is. Aubrey Smalls volunteered to spend a day with Jimmy and change his...
If I remember rightly, Tiptoes was a movie where a guy pretends to be a dwarf, which is insane. Just get disabled people to play disabled roles. And you could go as far as to say that people with dwarfism aren't disabled, they're just short. Which, in that case, get a short person to play a short role instead of a dude on his knees with little shoes on his knees. It's not hard to make a movie like that. Not... what's the word I'm trying to find? not make fun of little people without little people's go ahead. Like, it is kind of giving blackface, where someone's pretending to be something that they're not to make fun of it. Like, you can hire a dwarf in a dwarf comedy role, and like it's still going to be a comedy as long as they're funny, which I'm sure there are a lot of funny dwarfs. There are dwarfs that do stand up. So like, you know, it's not hard to be inclusive in situations like that. Completely off topic. Sia's Music movie, terrible. It's about autism. She casted her questionably aged friend. Who is it? It's not Maddie Ziegler. Is it Maddie Ziegler? I don't know. She casted her child friend that she worked with on everything to play an autistic person, and it was just a caricature with a bunch of fake info. Again, it just get people that like. Just get fucking people that have the right to speak on this shit. It ain't hard.
Mine about the dwarfism community. Maybe I can even get him to donate to our movie that has multiple dwarves in it. Thank you for sharing this. Isn't it amazing the impact representation can have on people's lives, outlooks, and how they treat others? Many people I meet admit they have zero knowledge on people with dwarfism, and that's not their fault. Over 100,000 people are born with dwarfism every year. To average height.
Okay, this could be out of touch. What knowledge is there to have on people with dwarfism? Like, they're short? Am I just so simple that I don't understand bigotry? Like, what knowledge is there to have? They're literally just short, that's it. There are words that, you know, they prefer you don't use. And other than that, they need a hand grabbing something from the top shelf at the store. Like, that's kind of where the beginning and end of the knowledge should start for me. Or the beginning and end of the knowledge, you know, is for me. It's not that deep. You're short. You're a short person. You're a short guy. You know, I've met dudes that are like 5'2". I don't need to know their whole life story. Or like about this other 5'2" dude that they know. You're short. That's it.
To average height people, but all we have is what? Munchkins, Oompa Loompas, Peter Dinklage in Game of Thrones? I'm trying to give people more reference when they think of little people in Hollywood. Since Hollywood is still putting us in the Dwarf Villager 1 category, I decided to write our own movie while telling a true story about my experience with online harassment due to my dwarfism. I, Aubrey Smalls, volunteer. But okay, fair enough. Saw your post about potentially calling into the podcast during the Tiptoe stream to discuss dwarfism
Again, he was taken by
representation in Jimmy Lee. Now, unfortunately, the Tiptoes live stream didn't exactly pan out as expected, but we wanted to reach out for another option. Tomorrow, we're filming an episode with Ethan's dad and Jimmy Lee in an old couple sort of situation, and we'll need to confront Jimmy again. Notice the word confront, about his problematic jokes to see if we can get through. It's cut off there, but I'm assuming to him.
Yeah.
The clips we want to ask him.
Again, though, Jimmy's beliefs, viewpoint, you know, his whole philosophy about people with dwarfism, you know, complete surprise, complete shock. So how dare Ethan Klein pull a dwarf into a show where he was completely briefed on what the show was going to be about, you know, what his role was going to be in that show, people's beliefs that were on that show. How dare Ethan Klein for not being more transparent about that, even though he was the most transparent about that.
About is the dwarfism jokes from the previous appearance of his. We tell him specifically what we're...
Super specific about what we were doing. Totally transparent.
Like Jimmy had sense
fully aware.
I forget what he said, but it was something really super offensive to little people.
Mm-hmm.
We had talked about it. We had acknowledged it. And we had told him specifically what it was. Now, what we wanted to ask, would you be interested in calling in to discuss with him why his joke might be offensive? We'll totally
Again, gave
be
him
there
a chance to say no
during the conversation because he has to chill out a bit.
Didn't make him commit to anything.
If you're not
that he
comfortable with
wasn't
this, we
comfortable
totally
with.
understand. Another option would be just send in a video message and we can play it for him during the recording. Would you be interested in either of those options? We're taping tomorrow around 12 p.m. Let me know. Thanks so much for reading, and looking forward to hearing from you. So again, we gave him not only the option, we told him exactly what was going to happen.
Yeah.
He was going to come in, he was going to confront Jimmy Lee on this specific joke.
That there would be a compilation of his previous jokes, and then that we would confront him about it, which is exactly what he cited as being like, you know, him not being in the loop.
We blindsided him.
That we blindsided him.
He responds, "Hi, hope you're doing well. Thanks for response. I'd be totally down to call into the chat with them, and I'm available tomorrow at 12 p.m. PST. Perfect. Thank you so much. I will shoot you an email tomorrow around 11, and we can set up a Zoom test, and then we'll be looking forward to chatting on the show. Thanks, Aubrey. Talk soon." Sounds great. After the show, Dan sent him a thank you.
After the recording. Hadn't aired yet, keep in mind. This was just, we
was not
recorded
live.
it. This was
in
not
the
live.
tank.
Yep.
Hi, Aubrey. Thank you for calling in. That got a little spicy, and we appreciate you trying your best to educate and inform using the platform. Not sure how it will resonate with Jimmy's long term, but we definitely going to debrief with him and talk it out. Hopefully it wasn't too much for you. They were more resistant than expected. We will keep you posted on when it will come out. Thanks again, and let me know if you have any questions. Aubrey said, "Thanks for having me. Such an honor to chat, even though I know things got awkward for everybody. I would honestly love to chat about calling back in to talk about what the Reddit post was actually about. I was really inspired by the outpouring of support from fellow H3 listeners who are rooting for a positive discussion on dwarfism. The dwarfism representation outside of Jimmy's comments. I'm usually not so serious, and neither is the project I'm making. It's more surrealistic, artistic, educational content than anything, haha. I know we didn't have a chance to do that today, but I've seen the positive impact H3 has had in the YouTube atmosphere, and I would love to chat about the chance to push the ball forward for the community I know and love. Plus, Ethan the other night said, disabled people are heroes, and I agree. There are so many iconic people with dwarfism out there that your listeners seem to be down to talk more about, so I wanted to see what your thoughts were on this. Let me know what you think."
But don't forget, guys, he felt really violated, and he hated his whole time on the show, and he felt like a bit, like he wasn't taken seriously. Again, it just contrasts this with the videos that we saw earlier. Ethan Klein, man, what an asshole.
He seems to like me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He seems to respect me at this time. For he's, interesting. Now I'm crashing out. He's getting his revenge on me because I'm crashing out. We would love to have you call back in. We are editing the episode together for next week, as we have a guest tomorrow, so it'll likely be out next Friday. And then once it's out, we would love to debrief and talk more about your post and project. Once our editor finalizes it and we lock in the day, I'll be sure to let you know ASAP. You're the best. Talk soon. Hi, Aubrey. I know it's about a bit last minute, but is there any chance you'd be available to call in today? We're currently live and would love to hear from you. I would love to. I'm watching now. Oh, he sounds like a big fan.
Uh-huh.
Thank you guys for making it happen and being so cool. You guys rock. Please let everyone know how thankful I am, he said after the show.
Mm-hmm.
Dan said, appreciate you, Aubrey. So does our audience. They were so thrilled with your call. That was great, and we're all thankful for the insight you provided. Best wishes and good luck on your project. That sounds like a horrible fucking experience you had.
Yeah, awful.
We abused
Completely blindsided. We made it, and what a joke we made out of him.
Me and my team were actually able to find the original clip, and even one of the producers of the H3H3 podcast show stated that they really had to heavily edit and splice it so that the content itself was even usable, kind of lending some validity to Aubrey's version of events.
Yeah, like making things live are, unless you want every single TV show you watch to be shot in one take and perfect. Sometimes shit's just not great with, live shit, especially live unscripted shit. There's dead air. There's shit that doesn't land that you do want to cut out. So just because it's edited doesn't mean to me that they're trying to cover shit up, other than to again make it watchable. Especially because I think at the time it was a members only show. As in, it was paid content. I don't know why they'd, in their right minds, why they'd make paying, viewers watch something terrible. So they tried to edit it to make it enjoyable. I don't know. I don't do the criticism in that personally. So far, this video has been a whole lot of nothing, and we have a fair bit more left. So I'm so looking forward to it.
That it is a heavily edited piece of production.
I hate fucking midgets, man. I don't want anybody sniffing around my fly unless they're serious.
I need to confront you on something, okay?
I know which one it was.
Which one?
I don't like midgets, Ethan. I can't hide my feelings. Don't get mad. I just never liked them.
The word midgets is very offensive, okay? We don't use that word anymore.
I thought it was a pretty good joke. Jolly Roger liked it. Pretty funny. It's just an old style joke. That's really all it was.
What'd you think of that, Gary?
All right, so we planned an intervention for the whole midget thing, and I was expecting my dad, to kind of ride for the social issue. He thought that was a highlight reel. He's clapping, so just brace yourself, guys. Go easy on my dad, please.
Some classic offensive humor. I think it's very clever and very smart, because if you're going to go after a minority group, who is less apt to hurt you than midgets or little people, right? You make fun of other groups that have
it's just so funny,
serious, threatening people, not midgets. What are they going to do? Come up and kick you in the knee or something? That's
okay. I'm
if
really
we
glad
have to
you
just
said
grin
that,
and bear
Gary,
it because they won't change.
we
then.
actually
Okay, so
in the end, we'll
clearly
win.
He failed. He failed the test. But actually, the worst part is, guys, what comes next. And boy, just notice their face. I mean,
And in the role of a lifetime, Gary.
All right, I'm just gonna play it. Everybody, tighten your sphincter.
actually have a little person on the call. They've been listening. And so Dan is going to bring them in right now, and we can sort of open a dialogue here. So, this is Aubrey.
Like, it's funny, dude.
so far so good.
Gary.
Hello, Aubrey.
Hi, Gary.
How you doing?
How you doing, kid?
Yeah, love you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Even though you think I would come up and kick you in the shins.
Well, I have pretty low shins too, so.
And you guys are both pretty short, so I wouldn't really be coming after our community.
Ooh. We knew we wanted to get him on the show. This is him, legend. And this is what we did, and I'm so sorry. To him, of course.
Yeah, to him.
Well, let's see. Does he break through? Let's see.
Jimmy, the comments that you made, you weren't really serious. Like, you don't actually dislike little people, right?
This is an act. It's
Exactly.
an act. And I'm a loving, big-hearted, nice guy that does a comedy act, and I don't mean anything I say. No, it's just intended to laugh at ourselves, Aubrey. That's all it is.
Right. No, yeah, I am.
I love how
trust me,
I love how Jimmy's thing is always.
He was always full of shit. Making jokes at the expense of minority groups isn't laughing at ourselves. While you look dumb and uneducated for saying it, it's not laughing at you for saying that. It's laughing at the minority group for being a minority group, which people think is like a pass to make jokes because, like, they're not represented, so who's gonna come after me? And it's a really good thing that we live in, like, the fucking the 2020s now, where shit like that is people are held accountable for shit like that. But yeah, I mean, the whole point is that they're not educated. And from everything we've seen, Aubrey knows that. It's not a fucking surprise.
We gotta laugh at ourselves. It's like, who's ourselves? You're consistently slamming other people only.
Right.
I've been performing since in the entertainment industry, in the circus since I was 4. Now I do stand-up comedy. Trust me, I was not offended.
Circus?
And I think I could tell it wasn't really a serious comment to begin with.
No.
Do you actually know any people with dwarfism?
I have patience.
Okay, who are little people?
And I didn't do that joke on them, Aubrey, in the office, by the way.
Oh, I know, Jim.
Because I'm a dentist in the office, not the comedian.
You do come from a very different generation where there was very different representations, obviously, of little people. Even medically speaking, doctors used to still use the word midget, even though there's no such thing as a midget. We are people.
Okay. Little people is fine. Dwarf, like, is crazy to me. Because dwarf gives me, like, fucking goblin vibes. Like, it's like a mythical creature that's teeny small. Like, a Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs look an ass, you know? They have problems with that, but they'll also be called dwarf and be fine with it. Like, I don't know, it's disrespectful to me. So, again, not a little person. I'm under 6 foot, but not by much. So I'm definitely not, you know, gatekeeping medical condition names, but I definitely think we could have a more sensitive one than dwarf. Like, I don't know. Medical condition names, you know, they change all the time. Look at Asperger's, how that's not PC to say anymore. Dwarf is crazy to me.
With dwarfism, and there's hundreds of types of dwarfism. So my only question was just if you do know little people and you're not really scared of them, but do you see how maybe that would have like real world implications for a group that has no representation,
I
that
understand.
is ever shown in a sexual or violent manner? Like, so I'm saying, even just as a comedian, I really just don't think that's the lane you want to go down.
Okay, I got you.
Do you see how it's nothing about if I find it offensive?
I understand.
I don't think you're that person, but as someone who's literally making a movie right now about how YouTube allows people to follow us around who sometimes are minors and go around calling us all of these names, but that aren't even names that are reflective of a medical condition, literally just a slur. Like, I just figure that you are someone who doesn't actually hate little people.
Harassing people in person for being short, by the way.
Zach's been telling me to quit for years. I may have to take his advice.
So some
I
shit
don't
you
think
don't
you should quit,
need to
but I
say.
definitely think you should realize
But
that comedy can be sustained
you'd be
without
surprised.
literally using someone else as a punching bag.
I
And I
got
think,
you.
what do you feel? You can be honest, Jimmy.
No, I have plenty of other jokes. I don't have to use the midget joke.
Everyone can be joked about. I just think it's the offhandedness and the fact that you're just quick to move on to another joke where I get followed in stores and I have someone online literally who's been stalking and threatening and harassing me just because I have dwarfism. He calls it Midget Wednesday. And I just don't think you would want to be associated with that.
No, I
where
don't. I'm gonna.
people-
One, crazy, again, harassing people in person. Two, why not Monday? The alliteration's right there. Why Wednesday? Like, there's zero ring to it. It has negative riz, that name. Monday is right there. Taco Tuesday. Freaky Friday. Monday. Like, the alliteration's there.
Let that one go.
Jimmy, this is an iconic conversation then, you realize.
Well, I'm not ever going to do a little people joke again. We're going to knock that off the dock. We're letting it go after listening to you.
We appreciate, you know, your perspective, Aubrey. It's been very informative and enlightening, and I hope it's resonating.
Like, I love talking and arguing. It's, if I ever came across a certain way, please don't think you are not offensive in the way that you talk about little people that I hear every single day. So it's not about being offended at all.
It
And
wasn't
Gary, I like
harmful intended. I just do comedy.
I love it. And again, I'm a comedian, guys. You don't know my humor too, so you don't know I could be just as. But
You can
no,
make fun of a Jew. I'm right here. Just don't shoot me.
we don't even make fun of anybody.
Juju's in planning a fire.
Two Jews walk into a bar.
There's lots of other content out there, and that's what I would just like to say as my final.
Well, thank you. Thanks.
Thank you,
Please,
Aubrey.
Jimmy, please look up DearAverageTypePeople.com, making a documentary comedy festival about that disability hate group because YouTube just doesn't care enough to protect small creators. So it's DearAverageTypePeople.com, and we're raising money right now to finish the film. Jimmy,
I really
you
hope
love
that
this.
movie's
It's a
good, by the
comedy
way.
festival, Jimmy.
Genuinely. I think if they're casting like minorities to do typically average-sized roles, it'd be such a fucking win if that movie absolutely fucking slapped, and these people got like, you know, regular jobs about non-dwarfism related things. That would be fucking iconic. You know, if say the Boom Up did such a good job that he moved on to do fucking Titanic 2. You know, what a great moment that would be.
Making fun of ourselves, we're making fun of everybody. The point is to bridge the gap between people like you and people like me.
We want to say one thing. Me and Guy are going to say it together. We love you. Say it.
Yeah, what he said.
Thank you, guys.
Aubrey,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay,
It was
Thank you so
great.
much, Aubrey.
Thank you.
So
Take
much,
care.
Aubrey.
Good luck.
Whoa, that went
Thank
better
you.
than I thought. I mean, Jimmy well, I think, okay, there was a lot of finessing.
There's a lot.
You actually finessed that to making it look like Jimmy learned a valuable lesson.
Yeah.
It was a bumpy conversation,
Fuck,
I'll
I
tell you
suck.
what.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of back and forth. I had to cut a lot for the sake of brevity, but it'll be in the final.
For the sake of
cut
brevity,
there.
But that was nice, but
the sake of brevity, as in to make it shorter, not as in to cut out anything crazy offensive that anyone said. For the sake of brevity, which again in live broadcast is so fucking normal when you're, you know, producing the non-live finished product. Again, not every movie is a fucking one shot. Not every podcast is a one shot. Not every interview is a one shot. You know, shit's highlights for a reason, because you're not trying to watch someone fucking breathe heavy and make mouth sounds. So
Ultimately, in the end, actually, there was some progress with Jimmy there swearing off little people.
So Ethan Klein didn't go out of his way to show full context of the conversations and the original recording, which should have been able to squash any questions.
wait, was that your? No, that can't have been her point for Aubrey being right about everything. That can't be. It can't be. Because that went well. Am I crazy for thinking that? That he you know, they came away with changed perspectives. Where was the badness and the fucking exploitation and abuse? Fuck, I'm bad.
That people had about how this conversation really went down. So he gives us heavily edited video footage
For brevity.
and correspondence between Aubrey and production where he is A-okay with everything. Not deterred by this whole situation, Aubrey then went forward to ask if he could go onto the podcast to speak about what he wanted to speak about, which was his production that he was doing. I think it was...
YMCA. I think Aubrey wanted to go on the second time because he didn't really get to talk a whole lot about the movie that he was making, which he didn't. So he wanted a chance to again talk about what the Reddit post was about, where he said, you know, I'm a little person, I'm about inclusion, I want to make a movie. Where he wanted to plug his shit. He didn't really get to do it in the first time. I'm not even saying plugging his shit's a bad thing. Again, I'm not preying on anyone's downfall. I'm just trying to have people be held to account. I'd love if that movie was amazing. You know, art, education, I'm a big fan of both of those things. So if it's a great movie and people learn a lot from it, why would I ever say, you know, I hope it's a bad movie? I wouldn't. And I think it could have created a lot of jobs for a lot of people that would normally get overlooked, no pun intended. So, like, I'm not preying on Aubrey's downfall, I'm not preying on the movie's downfall. I hope that both are live, laughing, loving. I hope the movie's great. And then, yeah, I'm glad that he got a second chance to plug his shit, because that funding really can help. Filming can be fucking expensive, especially if you need, like, location rights, if you're trying to enter it into a festival, you know, that shit adds up. So the fact that not only did he come away from the first episode with a positive enough experience to go on it a second time, but the fact that second time he got to plug his shit, I think it's really good. And clearly he didn't think it was all bad at the time. So again, I'm really struggling making the math.
was some kind of comedy show with disabled individuals, and he had like a website called Dear Normal Hype People or something of that nature. So I guess even from that alone, that kind of gives me the feeling that Aubrey didn't feel like he got all that he needed to get out of that podcast segment. The H3 team allowed him to come on a second time. He was able to plug his show, and I guess he went on feeling a little bit more confident about the situation between himself and the H3 podcast. However, retrospectively, in 2024, 2025, Aubrey feels like he made the wrong decision.
Which, again, I can't stress enough, because I don't want people to come away with this with the wrong idea. You can retrospectively feel different about some shit that's happened to you, but there's a lot of receipts that make his whole change of tone not look so great. So again, fully in your right to feel some kind of way about something. You know, I've done it, you've probably done it, everyone's probably done it. But yeah, that's not the problem that he's feeling differently. It's that it feels a little motivated and poorly timed, and you know, he's trying to delete the evidence of him saying that he did have a good time, which again is a horrible look. I mean, that's the big thing for me is, you know, this feels like a bit of an overcorrection almost. Like there's no reason he had to completely switch sides from saying that was a great time, loved it, best podcast ever, host, crew, fans, amazing, to the host is crashing out, I felt exploited, I was a bit like, if we couldn't take your word for it then why would we do it now, kind of thing. Like, it does feel like the shit that's said, there's a motive behind it. So the first time he said it to plug his show, the second time he's saying it because he was on that show, or to plug his movie. The second time, well, this TikTok response, the second time he's talking about it, is because no one's spoken about him for a few years. He's fucking fallen off, which isn't a bad thing. You had a really big peak in popularity. It's only natural for that to come down if you're not, you know, making the content that made you big. So if he's not appearing on the H3 podcast every week, of course his viewership's going to go down. But yeah, now it seems like he's fallen off. So he's talking about it again, which is getting his movie spoken about again. None of it feels fully genuine to me.
Which, for goodness sake, he is entitled to. A decent human being would just turn around and go, oh shit, I really didn't realize I made you feel that way. I felt like I went above and beyond to try and make you feel comfortable, but I didn't. I fell short. How could I make this better? But no.
You saw what she did there?
No, not Ethan Klein. He's going to talk about it on his podcast, attack a member of a marginalized group who has struggles of which Ethan will never ever be able to fathom, and then police them on how they should feel about their own presence. But don't forget, guys, Ethan is a good guy. But the interesting thing is that Ethan Klein has literally a patented history of referring to little people by terms that are either outdated or completely inappropriate. Like, this has been a running...
Okay, and like, respectfully, and is it how he feels today? That's what I would like to know. Is it how he feels today? So many people have said some fucking crazy shit where they look back on the shit they were saying 5-10 years ago, and they fucking wince because they're like, how did I think that was an okay opinion to have? How did I think that was an okay word to say? Unless it's how he's feeling now, I really don't care, to be honest. As long as that character growth has been there, I'm not gonna, you know, crucify him for shit that happened 10 years ago. if it's something that he like deeply regrets. Well, why would I? Like, people can change. And saying the M word, especially during edgy internet times, while it's not okay today, no one thought it was a huge deal at the time, so no one was calling him out. We weren't self-policing quite as hard as we do now. So yeah, why would I really give a fuck if he's, you know, changed his perspective on how he feels about that? The arguments in this video are fucking weaker than my bench press.
Bit for Ethan on his show for quite some time. Like 1 year ago when he called Big Nick a troll, a demonic little troll and troll-like.
He's such a fucking hateful
Troll out.
And I don't say troll because of his stature. I don't joke about that. That's just not a fair thing to laugh about. I'd say that, like, in the sense of, like, a troll.
The small jokes was...
It's the debunking your own opinions with the clips you show for me. Have you never heard the term troll before in the context of the internet? Because if you haven't, then don't, you know, why are you here? Like, do you own a computer? Troll this, troll that was fucking huge back in the day. Not so much anymore, but a troll is still a troll. It's not an unused word. It's not a dead word. You can say an internet troll and people know what you mean. So when he says he's not a troll because of his hype, but because of the fucking way he acts online, you've just debunked your own point, my dude.
So much that Dan had to jump in and try and save his ass by saying, well, some trolls are big.
I mean, if you Google troll and you go to a drawing of a classic troll. So, I mean, here you go. You know what I mean? Just a demonic little troll. And little...
Trolls are oftentimes depicted quite large in fantasy literature, such as the stone trolls that Bilbo speaks to until daybreak comes, and then they are turned to stone by
the motherfucker from Harry Potter. In the toilet sucking a girl's panties.
There it is.
Big motherfucker was broken to Hogwarts.
And just to clarify, I'm not talking about these trolls, which are very small in stature and quite strange looking.
Right.
These are not the trolls I'm talking about when I call him a troll.
Right.
Then Ethan went on to call Big Nick another slur for a little person, consisting of the letters I, M, and P. Little trickster demon, short stacked.
Ma'am, you can spell imp. You can spell imp. That last clip. But again, it does feel like there's been some growth. I mean, I'm not one to speak on what the fuck's going on in Ethan Klein's head, but if he's not actively saying it, and he hasn't actively said it for a while, then I think it's safe to assume that he feels different. I mean, you know what they say about assumptions, but there's just not a whole lot there. There's not a whole lot there. The word imp isn't a fucking slur. It's not. It's not. It's derogatory, but it's not the N-word. Fuck.
Short stacked imp goblin vibes and little demon.
Alright, well that was Nick.
Also, Big Nick is the fucking worst. He made... I'm sure he made some video calling, like, feminists Satanists or something. And he made some, like, crazy, like, radical Christian shit where he was, like, evil. So, I'm not trying to die on the hill of defending Big Nick at all.
Sorry, Taylor. Didn't mean to platform that. Imp. Have we done the imp thing with Big Nick already, or is that uncharted ground?
I reckon, yeah, he's talked about imps before, but maybe something new.
No, but just that, like, I would call him, he's like imp-like, but not because of his size, because of his, like, because he's like a little trickster demon. But an imp demon.
I just know Dan's in the bathroom and I'm nervous.
Me too.
Here's what an imp looks like. They're like a little winged demon.
Okay.
And that's what he's like.
Those are cooler than him, though. Come on. Demons are cool, dude.
Imps are dope. Those are low-level demons in most MMORPGs.
Come back fast, Dan.
I was just saying.
I still don't think it's quite the slam dunk she thinks
I was
it
just
is.
asking if we'd done the Big Nick Imp Discord.
Short stacked?
Big Nick's that short
What
stack
happened?
Imp Goblin vibes. All right, I'm out of this. Thank you, Big Nick. We love you.
Oh, I see where we're going.
Then we have Ethan Klein making the same joke about, is Munchkin a slur? 4 times in the past 1.5 years. He does this on July 12, 2023, January 24th, 2024, August 26th, 2024, and November 15th, 2024.
Many people are saying many.
Can you say Munchkin? Because that's more of like that's like a whimsical creature from Wizard of Oz.
Munchkin isn't offensive.
Well, I guess calling a little person a Munchkin would be offensive, but I'm saying like just change it.
Again, dwarf though. Like, this isn't a whataboutism, but Munchkin and dwarf to me is on the same. It's on the same level. They're both little fictional characters. I mean, this clip's not it. You know, the last clip wasn't it. But I really don't think we should brush off any of the criticism towards Aubrey because Ethan Klein's made short jokes before. When, like, to me, I'm seeing far past the size. And I'm just seeing the kind of hypocrisy of the whole thing. So, like, it's... My position is not a position of hating little people. Because that's... What? Like, it's running defense for no reason by claiming that I'm coming from a place of hating little people. I'm coming from a place of someone said some wild shit and I'm responding to it, which is the place that I'm going to come from all of the time. Like, again, fucking skinny, fat, tall, short, black, white, whatever the fuck. If you say some craziness, I don't care what the fuck you look like, who you are, what. You know, I'm gonna call that shit out. And Aubrey, despite being fucking 4 foot what, is saying some craziness. I'm not gonna use the 4 footness as an excuse. Like he's talking wild.
To be about a Wizard of Oz Munchkin.
People are saying mini matzo. That's not bad. Mini matzo.
Yeah, but he's
There it is.
considered a munchkin. He's coined a munchkin.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know the politics in Oz.
Is munchkin a derogatory word?
No, written in Wicked, it is a part of that world. I
Yeah, in
don't
the
know about
context
this
of
world.
Wizard, I think if you call a little person a Munchkin, they'd probably be upset.
I
but
think so too.
Munchkins are
I
okay.
don't think that
It's like-
one's that
it's like
bad.
Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. You know what I mean? They're like nice and awesome.
Is the word munchkin from?
Wizard of Oz is fucking damn near 100 years old now, so saying is this word dated? I don't think that's a wild claim. It's not as bad as the last one. You know, when the word munchkin has come up in the context of the book or the movie or the play, whatever the fuck they're talking about. Yeah, I don't think this one's that bad. Because they're saying a word that could be derogatory. To me, this one seems like a genuine is munchkin a slur type thing. You know, it's not saying like, oh, those fucking munchkins. He's not using it as a slur. He's like, can we say that? Is that a crazy thing to say? Which, like, yeah, I definitely don't think this one's as bad as the last one. So far, he's had a bit of a tendency of making my shit age horribly throughout the stream, but again, I still don't think he's in the wrong here.
Wizard of Oz, or does it predate Wizard of Oz?
You know, I don't know.
Because if it predates it, then it's derogatory in the
Let's
Wizard
see,
of Oz.
Munchkin, etymology.
They use that term munchkin for food, donuts, or there's munchkin donuts. So does that gotta go away?
It's from the Munchkins depicted as a race of small, childlike creatures in Frank Baum's The Wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Okay,
He made it up.
he's good. That's pretty impressive.
But munchkin is donut.
Is that a bad word?
Munchkin donut.
I think you call him anything.
How would that be a bad word?
I don't
Correct
know.
me if I'm wrong, but a Munchkin is a fantasy character. It is not an actual creature.
It's what it's just. Hold on, I'm gonna look into this. What is a munch? Oh, there's a shopping thing called a munchkin, so it can't be that bad. Baby products and accessories.
Yeah, I buy a lot of their stuff. It's just...
It wouldn't be nice to call a little person a munchkin. Makes sense.
Okay.
But Jack Doherty, you can't call him a
Is
munchkin.
he not call kids munchkins?
He's a person.
But
Your Honor.
But and he's a person.
Couldn't
but
you
I don't
old
think he,
ladies, but still.
I don't think they would want him in the ranks of their community.
Is he?
I never heard no one call a kid a dwarf.
Zach Ryan?
Yeah.
We're wondering what his height is?
Yeah, I small man.
On Ethan's bid here.
Can we?
Oh, sorry.
Well,
I don't think
no,
so.
he's right. How old is he? Can we say munchkin?
Oh shit!
Munchkin?
Yeah, you can.
He doesn't have a condition.
No, I'm making a joke.
Yeah.
But is he small in stature? I guess.
I think he'd call like a
Oh,
dwarf.
okay. So he's not.
God,
a small
Ethan's
guy.
bold as
What's his
fuck
height?
here.
5'10".
5'10"?
Yeah.
Hey, if you called a dwarf a munchkin, that would not be okay.
Yeah, that wouldn't be okay at all.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
it's
munchkins are, yeah.
little people.
Yeah, good stuff. We love little people here on the show. Nothing but respect.
Nothing but respect.
My team was also able to find another instance in April of 2022, where Ethan is speaking about two
Especially
of
one
the
that
main
researches
people
so
of
poorly. If
Selling
you have this,
Sunset.
if you have this many people with eyes on your shit, how does not one of them say, "Yo, that point, it ain't it"? If I had a fucking team of, even more than just me, someone to fucking filter this shit through, I would hope that someone says, "Yo, Sam, that point, there's not a whole lot to it. How does not one of this woman's friends or team or whatever they are to work, how does no one say, yeah, that ain't it? That doesn't make any sense to me. I'd kill for a fucking team to say, to keep me accountable and fucking steer me to the right path. If I'm going to say some shit based on nothing, then I'd like them to let me know. Thoughts?
Which is a show about like real estate in LA and all that. Anyway, the two guys who run the estate agent business are shorter men, to which Ethan Klein regards them as two little munchkins.
The two owners of the brokerage are these little munchkins, and they're so creepy. They only hire like young, beautiful women, and then they date them, and they're
Ew.
the two little munchkin popsicle kids. And they're just
The
so
lollipop gang? Is
disgusting
that
and
what
creepy, and so like I like that it was centered on that, but the new season is just fucking awful. I can't watch it.
Now, since this whole situation took place and Aubrey has given his thoughts and feelings on attending the H3 podcast and how he retrospectively feels about it, Aubrey has been brigaded across all of his social media. He has received 2 strikes on his TikTok channel, putting his TikTok monetization and channel at risk. Not saying that is 100% attributed to H3H3, but the timing is very interesting.
This account is
Not saying it's attributed to H3 actually, but she is gonna fucking Dwayne Johnson eyebrow that shit. Yeah, I'm gonna just see what the fuck comes out about this.
probably at risk of getting banned at any moment. I randomly received 2 strikes, and my other main account was hacked and is now permanently banned. So if you wouldn't mind just taking a second to follow me on YouTube, I just started posting again on that channel, and I'm hoping to get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of this month. And I'm also on Instagram, at Aubrey Smalls, and I would love to get in touch with you guys there. So sorry to see this account go. I've had so much fun on Dwarfism history, but hopefully we'll see you guys soon on some of those other platforms.
And a person on the H3 podcast
I mean,
subreddit...
does TikTok just fucking give out strikes for no reason now? Like, the copyright strike shit isn't there. If those even fucking exist on TikTok, I've seen fucking... the endless fucking shorts from TV shows and shit and movies that I did not ask to see, and I can't imagine it's any different on TikTok. It can't be a copyright thing, so like there's got to be more information about what those strikes are. I can't imagine TikTok just say, strike, this is here for you, you have strike, you want information? No, you get none. I don't think they do that. I need to see what the fuck the strike's actually for.
It literally like soft doxed Aubrey. And considering Aubrey's whole reason for going onto the podcast was to shed light on a situation that was extremely important to him, how little people have been disregarded in society, and how there is like a group of people who harass little people on YouTube, only for Ethan in 2025 to come through and do it again. Now, granted, that post on the H3 subreddit was taken down by moderators. However, Ethan Klein can't use the ploy that, oh, my audience don't attack people, because yes, they do. It is a patented history. We have seen...
Has he said that, though? Because I'd like to see a receipt for that upon the many receipts that she claims to have. What the fuck? Because, like, I don't care what the fuck people say. Creators aren't responsible for the shit their audience do. They can, you know, they can shame them for doing fucking certain things that are insane. But the fact that... bear in mind, this could be one fucking Ethan Klein viewer. The fact that one Ethan Klein viewer has doxed Aubrey, that's not a sign that Ethan Klein is okay with doxing. It just shows that that one person is insane. I really highly doubt that Ethan's out here fucking encouraging doxing people. So the points, man, with the points, they ain't pointing. These points are about as fucking pointy as a circle, my dude.
This for years and years on end. It's actually one of the biggest reasons that I fucking dislike you, because you literally never ever go out of your way to just tell your audience, hey, don't do it, stop. If anything, you've just exasperated the situation. So with Aubrey's feelings of how things went on the show, the limited and highly edited receipts it is that Ethan Klein has produced to the audience.
Nor does Ethan have to say stop. By the way, again, he's not responsible for the shit his audience does. So thinking that he has to police every single one of his audience members is a bit crazy, when the expectation should just be there for them to be regular ass people, and the majority of them are. I think they have like fucking 5 million plus subscribers. I don't think he needs to police people because one person's fucking insane and the post was removed from Reddit. That is the policing that's all the policing that needs to be there. Is the post accessible anymore? No, because that shit got fucking nuked. So they have been stopped. The circle points.
And the patented history of Ethan Klein using some really nasty slurs about little people, so much so that it's turned into a running gag and a bit on the show.
Oh man, on Ethan's bit here.
Can we?
Oh, sorry.
I don't think it's weird for Aubrey to have felt that he was used in that particular situation, retrospectively. But Audrey was not... Have I been saying Audrey or Aubrey this whole time? If I've been saying Audrey, I'm really sorry, I meant Aubrey.
Yeah, you're
However,
fucking stupid.
Aubrey isn't the only person...
Like, respectfully, disrespectfully, you're fucking stupid. This video has been... Actually, how long? Hold on a minute. 50 minutes! And you can't even get the main fucking... The second main subject's name right. Respectfully, disrespectfully. You're fucking dumb.
Have caught that Ethan Klein smoke on his comeback tour. Introducing a person that I deeply respect. Mika's Rhetoric.
I really could just fucking end the video right there. Like, genuinely, I could just end the video right there. I have my thoughts on what the fuck she just said and who she said it about. If you don't understand why, oh mama, you will, bitch, you will. Fucking person I deeply respect, Mika's Rhetoric. Her name is Rhetoric. That tells you all you need to know. She's built for chatting shit.
Okay, so the Mika's Rhetoric situation is slightly different, because Mika's Rhetoric didn't actually
Mika's taller, for starters.
release anything whilst Ethan Klein was on hiatus. She made her video sometime before the break. However, Nicholas Diorio came across it and popularized the content. In a video titled, Ethan Klein Gets Exposed by Crazy Woman She Fears for Her Life. In this video, Nicholas Diorio
Not
basically
a fucking
watches
false
Mika's
title.
Rhetoric's video and fundamentally dislikes the content, not just the subject matter and material, but just the overall production of how Mika does her videos.
Going over a Ethan Klein exposed video.
I did not
There's about
anticipate a fucking
70,000
Nick
views
Diorio
from a smaller
crossover.
T-channel content creator. Now, this person knows who I am. I don't remember who they are. I guess we've had some interaction in the past. It's something that's come up. You probably saw it in the intro clip. The reason why we're looking at this today is because it's a brutal video. Typical T-channel fashion, it's mostly just a conversation that doesn't have supplemental clips. It gives the person an opportunity to lie, and they do that a lot in this video. The choices in argumentation are horrendous, and probably the most obnoxious part is the entire video is cased in, "Oh, I'm afraid. Ethan Klein's community is so brutal, guys. I don't know if I'm gonna have a career tomorrow. I don't know if I'm gonna get doxxed." And it's one of the most disgusting, degenerate ways to shield yourself from criticism, to just come out here and make these broad claims that you're in danger because you're talking about, like, I mean, if you don't want to talk about drama, don't talk about drama. It's absolutely pathetic to open a video like that. I have no respect for people who do this.
What I will say is, whilst I...
Okay. If you're so afraid about making a video, like, she fucking made it seem like, I'm afraid for my life, I'm gonna die. Don't. No one made you make it. And based on the shit she put in the video, she really shouldn't have made it because it's a fucking awful video. But to open up a video and say, I'm really scared to make this video, I'm in danger, and then fucking watch the video back, edit the video, upload the video. Respectfully, disrespectfully. You're fucking stupid as well.
Understand the lack of structure to Mika's videos can be a little bit annoying to people who like structure. As you can tell, I'm a girl who likes structure. Mika's videos are more like podcasts. They are intended to be listened to and raw and honest, almost as if you're speaking to your ADHD friend who can't stay on topic but will always get to the point.
Yeah, that one fucking annoying friend that fucking always chats shit. If that sounds familiar, I'm that friend, but I ain't trying to fucking talk to me. I ain't trying to talk to me. I'm fucking annoying as shit in a conversation. I ain't trying to talk to me. So why the fuck would I seek someone out on YouTube that fucking talks like that? Oh yeah, she's just that one fucking friend that yaps and chats shit and she's fucking neurodivergent. Fuck no. I don't want to watch that shit. What? Rhetoric?
Eventually. Now, that style of content may not be for everybody, but I just kind of don't like the idea that people are like, it's bad content. No, it's just not content that you jive with. Now, one of the biggest issues it is that Nicholas Diorio pointed out in Mika's Rhetoric's video is that she has a lot of disclaimers before she starts a video. Now, I can 100% understand why that might be annoying to some. However, this time she was speaking about having an uncomfortable feeling about making this video, even though she wanted to make the video, because of the harassment it is that she faced at the hands of H3 fans when she made a video about Ethan Klein a long time ago.
I have a pretty intense anxiety disorder, and the only time I've contemplated quitting...
Intense anxiety disorder, little known fact, is the peak mental condition to be in to make call-out videos on the internet. I know me, as someone who suffered with anxiety, if I ever have a really bad spell, my first thought is to go online and call somebody out, I guess with the delusion that they won't respond. But that's just me. When my anxiety up, so is my upload count.
The internet with, like, certainty was in reference to discussing Ethan Klein before, and I was treated in a way that maybe allegedly in Minecraft could be considered harassment.
You're a grown fucking ass woman. Look, you're just a grown woman. It was considered harassment. I considered it harassment. Allegedly in Minecraft in-game. Actually, I unalived the harassment. What? Just fucking talk like a human? What?
Because they were making an account where they were dedicated to, like, saying all this stuff about me and how evil I am, and then they were DMing people that I'd worked with.
I don't want to go there, but Mama, I gotta go there. Mama, I do be having to go there. Da da dum, la da dee, la da dum, la da da. La da dee, la da dum, la da da.
With on other.
Is the resemblance not there? Is it not? Like, if fucking Gretchen dropped the pencil and picked up a burger, is the resemblance not there? For all I know, fucking Mika's real name is Gretchen. Maybe it's the fucking same person. Gretchen fucking left school and fucking fell off hard. Got an eating disorder the opposite way. Like, it is... Mama. Ew. But Mama. Same person. Fucking prove me wrong.
Other videos that I was this horrible, evil, morally corrupt individual and all this stuff. When we talk about the inception of the podcast, it was not responded to well for a long time. And this has been discussed by many different videos at length, including... So I was watching... I always know that I'm right when I have the opposite opinion of Nicholas DiOrio, because...
Now, anybody who has encountered HD fans knows that they are rabid dogs. CC in Adam McIntyre, I'm sure he'll tell you. And Ethan Klein at no point does anything to discourage this behavior. So shortly before Ethan Klein's return, during this hiatus, he took to Instagram once again to talk about another content creator who made a critical video about him.
As he has every fucking right to. If someone makes a video about you at all, fucking praising you, criticizing you, why are you not allowed to respond to that? Like, make that make sense. Like, just fucking digest that one for a second. Make it make sense. If someone makes a video, right, I'll say it slow. If somebody makes a video about you, your point, as you said a couple times now, is that you're not allowed to respond. You've not said that directly, but don't get me wrong, you said that by any time these videos are made, calling out Ethan for making a post on his socials and making responses on his podcasts. What are we fucking talking about, dude? If she made this video and actually Ethan Klein posted a story, and if her video is full of shit, which, newsflash, it was, I would hope he does, because otherwise she's just throwing shit to the wall and seeing what sticks with zero opposition. Why can we not throw shit at a wall and then have people fucking clean the shit off the walls? You know, responses are allowed, responses are good, responses are encouraged. This response is good because otherwise there are videos like this floating around saying that people can't fucking respond to things. What are you talking about? Go.
Wah, wah, people don't agree with me, wah, wah. He's literally a 40-year-old baby. This is...
I've literally just fucking said what I said. So all I'm gonna say is just refer the fuck back to my previous point about why we're not allowed to respond to videos about us. Mama, go. Okay. Why? Why? Please give me a good reason why. I'll put my whole fucking channel on the line, right? Delete the channel. 4 subscribers. I have such big stakes. Right, this channel is my life. I will delete my channel if you can say why people aren't allowed to respond to critical videos of him. If you can present that point in a way that I agree with, or in a way that a lot of people agree with, and it's a good ass fucking point, the channel's gone. I will never say anything on YouTube again. Please give me that point. Please. Please. Please give me a point as to why someone can't respond to a critical video. Because it makes them look immature. It makes them a 40-year-old baby. How? If people couldn't respond to accusations, right, then courts just wouldn't exist. Courts would exist for sentencing and not defense, right? So responses are good, defending yourself is good, standing on business is good, saying shit with your chest is good. Not in this instance though, your instance, because a lot of the shit you've said with your chest is just fucking wrong, right? So take the shit you say with your chest and maybe write it in a diary, because then nobody's going to check you on that. Say it to your team of friends, because apparently no one checks you on that. But apparently the shit that you do say with your chest online is just factually incorrect.
This is what it is that Ethan Klein had to say. Another dummy taking a ticket and getting in line. Lots to talk about when we return. LOL. Now, as you can imagine, the moment that Ethan Klein said that he was going to be speaking about a particular content creator, posted the content creator's channel, a lot of H3 fans, even before Ethan Klein had live streamed, literally zeroed in on the Ethan Klein video and went over there to attack Mika's rhetoric. And a lot of the attacks on Mika's rhetoric was against her physical appearance, to which I personally believe, this is Paige Christie.
I mean, she is just fat Gretchen,
I
though.
personally believe that the H3 team were aware of. There were literally people on the H3 subreddit putting her face on the body of Ursula.
No.
And when a fan turned around and said, hey, it's not cool to make fun of people's appearances, other members of the H3 fandom were like, shut up, cry more. Now, those screenshots it is that I just showed you were screenshots that I personally took on my...
I mean, it's not nice, but also, period. Cry more. Boo fucking who? she's fucking fat Gretchen. Prove me wrong.
Phone whilst the podcast was live. And whilst the podcast was live, the H3 production team were posting various different memes that were entered into the subreddit. The H3 production team specifically, Dan, however, there are several team members who have direct moderation access to the H3 subreddit. So their lack of...
Oh, okay. So they're Ethan and crew. If you're signed for H3 Productions LLC, or whatever the fuck the business name is, whatever's on your payroll slip, if you work there, you have to moderate on Reddit 24/7. You might not have read that part of your contract in the small print, but yeah, working for Ethan Klein means 24/7 Reddit moderation. You need to be on that bitch all day. Actually, you don't have time to make the show. I just fucking died. That's tragic. You don't have time to make the show because you should just be auditing every single post that comes through and making sure it's right and moderating it. So, sorry guys, but you're actually just paid Reddit mods. Your dreams of being in production, get a new job because you're a Reddit mod 24/7, confirmed by this woman.
To remove disparaging content about Mika's rhetoric's looks, whilst in tandem showing live the memes it is that they approve of, honestly just sparks negligence to me.
Oh, Goku Naru.
Oh no.
Jake Doolittle, and Aubrey.
Yeah.
All in your room. I feel like I'm dogs with Gok now. Me and Gok are dogs.
Even some hours...
Okay, what was that clip for? What was that clip for? Do I need to explain your own fucking receipts to you? Mika made a critical video. Gokanara made a critical video. Jake Doolittle made a critical video. Aubrey made a critical video. This is the Ethan fucking hater room, my dude. Trisha Paytas. I don't know why fucking Larry David's here. Steven Spielberg. I don't understand that. But these are all people that have made critical videos. This is not an appearance thing. Just because Mika looks unflattering here, I hate to break it to you, but that's kind of just her face. Her face, it's bad. Okay, she just looks like that. So yeah, these are literally just all people that have spoken badly about Ethan Klein. It's not fucking rocket science, my dear. It's not. And if you had a clue what you were talking about, you'd see that.
It's like I'm dogs with Gok now. Me and Gok are dogs.
Even some hours after the podcast, these pictures were still available on the H3 subreddit. Which again, Ethan, Dan, AB, at the very minimum, all have access to and moderation roles. Now again,
Guys,
Mika's
personal lives gone. Reddit mod 24/7. You heard it here first. After a long day of making the podcast, you need to do more work for free, mind you, to look at the Reddit. You know, just look at the Reddit. You've done a full day's work. Why not go on the forum about your work? You know, I mean, personally, that's what I do. I get home from a long day of work, fucking 8-9 hour shift, and I just Google my company. I look it up, and I'm like, damn, that logo is cool. I mean, hell, maybe I'll make a Reddit about my company and just fucking post to it non-stop. And if anyone posts something that I don't like, instantly nuked. Like, what are we fucking talking about? Just because they're Reddit mods and have moderation doesn't mean they need to... It's a title. You know, I've been a fucking Discord mod. I was active as fucking shit as a Discord mod. That shit's free, and no one paying me to do that. If they were getting paid to be Reddit mods, then, like, I'd hope so. I'd hope they look at that shit. But they're getting paid to work on the show, and Reddit's just kind of a thing that they have access to. So, what are we talking about with the crew has access to the Reddit? Like, you have access to your channel, yet you still loaded this? So if we're going to talk about making sure slop isn't on our platforms, maybe you should hit that little private button right there, that delete button, because otherwise, again, point, no legs. You have the points of a circle. She's fat, Gretchen. They have no obligation to look at the Reddit 24/7. What are you talking about?
This video was definitely politically geared and very much spoke about the H3 cast members almost as if they are archetypes of their minority groups, which was not something that I personally am down with. And there is more than valid criticism and debate for Ethan Klein to have there. However, for the most part, he just spoke about her looks.
I love, by the way, that the H3 podcast has, like, if you include Ethan, 3 ethnically diverse people, because you've got AB and his wife, who are Arab. Love is Swedish, but the last time I checked, Swedish people are kind of white as shit. So if we're going to talk about stereotypes of races, maybe we should actually have races to be stereotypes of. Thoughts?
Then walked back those comments, called her dumb, stupid, and that he hated her content, while subjecting his fan to almost 40 minutes of her 47-minute video.
Like this dummy, Mika, who I had never heard about. I don't know who she is. She's a small commentary creator.
Yeah.
So her video, by the way, is called ironically, a nuanced conversation on H3 and public perception. Oh, sounds like a really thoughtful, analytical video.
The word nuance has been driven into the ground. It's people giving a one-sided opinion and then slapping nuance on it to make it seem like they're not, when they are. My shit is a lot more nuanced than what 99% of the people calling their shit nuanced is. Because I will happily call Ethan out for shit that he's done. There is shit that he's done that I'm not thrilled about. So, like, I'm not a dick rider. I'm just agreeing with the side that I think is right. In which case is Ethan's. If Ethan fucks up, Ethan fucks up. I'll call that shit right out. But like, there's nothing here, my dude. This nuanced shit, it's not there. Spoiler for Mika's video. There's zero nuance. None of it. None.
Watch that. That sounds interesting.
And if people think that I'm weak in that regard as well, I understand, honestly.
What?
And I also have like a
The thing is like she's hedging super fucking hard because even though she opened this video saying she's so terrified to make this video because of you, the reality is what she's actually afraid of is her fellow snarkers, because they are the first ones that are going to turn on her and bite her fucking head off for not going hard enough or focusing on the right things or
running
whatever.
defense for E star.
Yeah, and she might not even realize it, but that is.
Are you telling me that people on Star credits are toxic and cringe? That's crazy news to me. I did not know that.
Is what you're doing. None of these disclaimers were in any way a prevention of, you know, our fans or your fans coming after her. She is deathly afraid of all the other idiots
she should
that she hangs out with.
Those people are fucking piranhas.
I guess you're right. You're right.
My mental health is very silly, but again, I just want to be honest, right? I have a pretty intense anxiety disorder.
Here we go with more fucking hedging. What the fuck? She's so scared. She has anxiety. Then get off the internet. If you have anxiety, just go off the internet.
Yes, this is not healthy.
You
for someone
didn't
with a
need to
severe
make this
anxiety
video.
Disorder. You should not be a YouTuber.
And
shut up. It's not my problem. I don't care. Okay, just say what you want. Holy fuck.
She gives like 50 reasons to not make this video and still fucking makes it. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like a full terms of service.
That's actually what was on the paper. Reasons why not to make this video.
Pros, cons.
Yeah.
The pros probably are pretty heavy,
Pros,
though.
views.
Yeah, views and subs.
Somebody said she's point phobic. Get to it.
True. Like that.
The only time I've contemplated quitting the internet with like certainty was in reference to discussing Ethan Klein before.
I have no idea who you are.
Spoiler, she contemplates quitting the internet again after this video. So if this was really the slam dunk hit piece that she thought it was, she won't be thinking like that. Again, the whole thing I notice with people like this is a lack of fucking standing on business. If you're wrong, you're wrong. But the right reaction to being wrong is not saying, I'm going to delete my channel. The right reaction to being wrong is saying, yo, I was wrong as fuck. That's crazy. What was I thinking? Not, well, I ain't uploading no more. Like, if that doesn't show that you've got no fucking argument, then I don't know what does.
Apparently, her talking about me made her want to quit the internet. I've never heard of you. I don't know anything about you. I've never talked about you. If it made you want to quit the internet, maybe your intuition was right.
And I
facts
was treated in a way that maybe allegedly in Minecraft could be considered harassment.
Allegedly in Minecraft
by who?
in real life in Columbine.
Not even our fans, probably. By fucking people that hate me.
Because they were making an account where they were dedicated to like saying all this stuff about me and how evil I am. And then they were DMing people that I'd worked with on other videos that I was this horrible, evil, morally corrupt individual and all this stuff.
I think she's lying. I'll say it.
So, it is kind of crazy that people she knew got DM'd or people she made videos with. But if someone's making videos talking straight out their fucking hole, then I think I'd want to know so I don't work with them again. If I worked with them once before. Like, I'm making that mistake twice. So, yeah, it is a bit fucking parasocial and weird. But also, being in that space, I'd probably appreciate the heads up that someone is just fucking... They've completely lost it and they're delusional. I don't know. They're doing me a favour at that point.
I think she's straight up.
If I disagree, I disagree. But like, a heads up is nice. You know, like I said, I ain't trying to make the same mistake twice. If I fucking work with someone that's lost their mind, then a heads up. Yo, this person's fucking psychopathic. Don't work with them. I'm gonna do with that information what I will. But again, is weird. But if I got that DM, I wouldn't really give a fuck, personally.
Lying about that. I don't fucking believe a thing she says. Not that it matters, because I didn't do any of that. I didn't even know you exist, lady.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, give me another 1,000 reasons why you're so scared to make this video. Jesus.
Now, in this comeback podcast, Ethan Klein stated that anybody who says anything about him, they're gonna catch all the smoke. That he's not letting things lie or rest anymore, he's attacking it head on. And that any content creator, no matter how big or how small, was gonna get it.
All these motherfuckers who want to come and talk shit. Listen, if you're gonna talk shit about me, I have a policy. This goes for everybody. I don't give a fuck how small of a creator you are. If you talk shit, you're fair game.
So that kind of led me to the question of, why are we focusing on Aubrey Smalls and Mika's rhetoric and their very inconsequential videos?
Because he just told you why. They made videos talking shit and he responded. Because I ain't trying to have someone talk shit and not go unchecked. Like, hello? Are we in the same... Are we watching the same fucking video? Are we in the same universe? Because your brain does not operate in the same way mine does, clearly.
That I honestly don't believe has actually harmed the perception of Ethan Klein and his H3 podcast show at all, due to these people's limited amount of impact. Because again, had Nicholas Diorio not found this video and decided to speak about it on his platform, it would never have amplified Mika's Rhetoric's video. Mika's Rhetoric's subsequent growth in subscribers as well as monetarily and views was purely based on the amplification of Nicholas Diorio and Ethan Klein. I mean, even
So?
Angelina Skov, another content creator who has made
Like,
Ethan
man,
Klein...
so? It doesn't fucking matter how big of a creator you are at this point. It's completely fucking pointless. Circle, bitch. If you're gonna make a video, just send a business. It's not that fucking hard. I don't know what all this fucking internet pussy shit's about. If you make a video, say it with your chest. If information comes out after the fact that makes your video wrong, say that with your chest. Like, I have 100,000 subscribers. You can't make a video about me. What the fuck? No! What?
Content has been vocal more recently about Ethan Klein content not really doing well for her channel at all.
Nobody watches my videos about Ethan. I think I've made like 2, maybe. They're some of my worst performing videos, to be perfectly honest with you. And why am I here doing it again? He annoys me.
I feel like I'm one of the few people who can make an Ethan Klein video.
Wow! What a smackdown. I wonder why. I wonder why no one watched those videos. Really, sincerely, I do. Why did no one watch the videos with the opening point of Ethan Klein annoys me? Why would no one click on that shit? Oh, fuck my facts and evidence and receipts. And no, Ethan Klein's just a bit annoying. If I made a video and every single person on the internet that annoyed me, I'd literally never fucking stop making videos. This live stream would last until I'm in the fucking ground. So... no fucking wonder that no view video you showed had no views. What the fuck are we doing here?
Okay,
What
but
are
that's
we
because
doing?
I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. I have been on this train of disliking Ethan Klein since day dot. I disliked Ethan Klein when my ancestors were building the pyramids, bitch. I have been disliking Ethan Klein since the plantation. I have been disliking Ethan ever since the stupid little beanie hat. I've been consistent. I'm a consistent queen. But back to the topic of the video.
Okay, but why? Because Ethan Klein annoys you? Or, like, are you going to give a reason for that? There are people... I have people where they just kind of fucking give me bad vibes, but I'm not making 2-hour-long call-out videos on him. I'm not saying, oh, I hated him from way back, 10, 15 years ago. It's irrelevant. This person's fucking annoying. That's all you have to say. Like, it's not a flex to say, I've always hated this person. For what reason? Annoying. That's not a flex. Mama, it ain't. It doesn't support your point at all. It's just a bit irrelevant.
Why Why did Ethan Klein focus on two extremely irrelevant and inconsequential individuals instead of focusing on a much bigger story that I genuinely believe that Mika and Aubrey were used to suppress? So let's talk about the H3 Snark Reddit lawsuit and why Ethan Klein will not answer Adam McIntyre.
He did answer Adam McIntyre, actually. In that same video where he called out Mika, I believe. In Ethan's words, Adam made a video about an hour long about a single story. And his response to that was, why would I make a response to something that fucking insane? Which, Mama, there's a truth behind you that... I'm malfunctioning. It's like a level of, like, obsessive that's insane. I've been an Adam McIntyre fan. The Colin Ballinger shit, fucking very justified. He's made very good videos about other people, but a 55-minute video, if that's what it was, about an Instagram story, is fucking insane. Like, you wouldn't entertain that shit with a response, because what is there to talk about? You say what you meant by the story, and then have some fucking dude yap for 55 minutes. That's wild.
So, approximately a month ago, Adam McIntyre made a video called Ethan Klein Needs to Address This, in which Adam McIntyre discusses the H3 Snark Reddit being hit with numerous different copyright claims. Now, just to bring you up to speed, if maybe you skipped past some bits, the H3 Snark Reddit is basically a place where...
Just a heads up, by the way, on what I thought this video was going to be about. Ethan has spoken about suing Aubrey. And due to the amount of fucking straight up lies that Aubrey told, I think he'd be in every right to. Slander, libel, all of that is infamously hard to convict based on, because you need to show intent that, like, someone knowingly lied. And for Aubrey, I think they've got more than enough. They have receipts out the fucking ass. So when Aubrey goes onto his platforms and says, yo, Ethan Klein, terrible person, bad dude, then why is it out of the realm of possibility for Ethan to say, yeah, but here's the receipts of us making you not think that way, and you saying otherwise, and now turning around and saying different? Like, there's an intent there to me that he did knowingly fucking talk out of his ass. I think that could be provable based on the fucking sheer volume of receipts that there are. But yeah, I'm interested to hear about this snark shit, because it's the first I'm hearing of it. So, like, opinion is going to be fresh out the womb.
People who dislike the podcast, people who dislike Ethan Klein, can talk shit about him freely. Because as we know, the H3 podcast subreddit is moderated by the team. So disparaging and negative critiques about the H3 podcast, as well as its show hosts, tends to be wiped away. And I mean, that's their subreddit, they can do with it as they see fit. However, it's unsurprising that there has now become a space where people who do want to criticize, whether that's positively criticize or simply to just hate on these people, they made a new place to go. So last month, Adam McIntyre basically did a call-out video to Ethan Klein and stated, the H3 Snark subreddit is alleging that you are placing false copyright claims on the subreddit in order to get the subreddit terminated. It's quite clear that the content that you have selected for copyright falls within fair use. So Ethan Klein and the H3 podcast, why are you abusing the copyright system?
You cannot hide behind trying to silence a fucking snark page. Specifically, when you guys were fucking sourcing out the fucking Trishy land of last year. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. Just because the views are dying, the memberships are dying, whatever the fuck is going on, it doesn't mean you can silence criticism, because that is not fair. Specifically, if you're going to do it this very weird way when it comes to fair use and copyright, which you got a successful peak on YouTube for, because you fought against. because you fought against it.
This video gained around 100,000 views and went into detail about the copyright infringements that were placed against the H3 Snark subreddit. Now, for a period of time, the H3 Snark Reddit went dark. Once lawyers and legal notices and letters and all of that kind of stuff were making its way through, the moderation team had a little bit of a regroup to see if they could continue even running the Snark Reddit. Adam McIntyre basically said in his video if Ethan Klein could prove that the allegations that the H3 Snark Reddit were levying against Ethan Klein, that he was unfairly copyright claiming videos on the subreddit, that Ethan Klein could prove that this was untrue, then Adam McIntyre would go forth and make a retraction online for the allegations that were levied against him. Adam McIntyre in this video was basically begging Ethan Klein to prove that this is not going on. Begging Ethan Klein to prove him wrong.
Go on, I know you want to prove the Reddit wrong. Prove them wrong. Prove your snark wrong. Disprove it. Disprove that your copyright striking criticism of content clips against you and you're the fair. Disprove it. Come on, we are rooting for you. Come on, chat. We are rooting for them. Just do it. And if you will, we will all be on here and we'll be like, yes, it wasn't them. And you know why? Because on a video yesterday, I spoke about how much I respected Ethan when it came to fighting for fair use and fighting for copyright protection. Go on, disprove it. Disprove it so I can double down on, while I may have issues with Ethan, I respect him for fighting for fair use. I respect him for fighting for YouTube copyright. You know why? Because it directly affects me with the content I make. And
I mean, I will say right now, without having watched the video, it seems like a lot of speculation that H3 clips are being copyright claimed, and by default, people are just kind of pointing the finger. Should Ethan respond? That's fucking anyone's guess. I think he should. But I didn't even know you could fucking copyright claim shit on Reddit. I'm not even gonna lie. But yeah, one, I would need to know if it is him, which it kind of seems like nobody does. They kind of just theorize and accuse him. And then two, I'd need to see the shit that they struck as well, because while they're talking about fair use, that could literally just come down to a difference of opinion. So yeah, I'd be really interested to see the shit that was actually struck as well, if it's available, which I'd hope it is. But yeah, so far I'm not so quick to denounce Adam's video right now. I just don't know a whole lot about what Mama's preaching, so I'd need to know that first.
Regardless of my opinions, I fucking respect him for fighting that battle back then. But if this is true, then it all crumbles. Disprove it.
Now, despite at the time Adam McIntyre's video having over 100,000 views on the topic, that is extremely condemning to the reputation of H3, which we'll discuss in a moment, Ethan Klein came back and did not give any airtime to the allegations that I really do think can have a much bigger harm to the reputation of H3H3, and focused on the little person and Mika's Rhetoric's rambling video. And again, Mika's video was extremely...
Mama, you're done. You've had enough of my time. If I want to come back to you after the Adam video, I will, but yeah, I would much rather just watch Adam's video rather than sit and watch you butcher it for an hour.
Hi, muckers!
So, where is it?
Hi, muckers! Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all doing very, very, very well. And welcome to really our first video of 2025. I uploaded a video a couple days ago, and I kind of talked about the fact that the start of the year has not been the greatest yet, but this is really the kickoff of like content for us. So let's have a fun year.
Mama, you don't look like the one. Okay, cool.
Okay, let's talk about something that has been going on with H3. Now, there have been so many things that have been going on with H3, and I have chosen just...
It's just a little cute thing I did for the aesthetic.
With you. I have fully taken a step back when it comes to Ethan Klein for many reasons. Many reasons. One of which,
Just felt
on
like
a
doing
personal
this.
level, when he had his incredibly deranged manic spiral to do with me, in which he accused me of being creepy
fucking
towards
Black
his
Ops 1 hand now.
mother, and then I clocked him, and he called his mother on air to try to disprove me, and his mother took my side. So I've really kind of, distanced myself from the whole H3 of it all, and I know that a lot of
Oh my God,
let
I'm
me
cooked.
ask the audience. I've been seeing a lot going on with the declining views in H3, and who am I to speak? My views are way less, but in the grand scheme of things of what they've used to get, I mean, everyone here, let me know if you used to watch H3, if you still watch H3. I genuinely want to get, and let me know down below if you're watching on YouTube. I would like to get a consensus, right, of like where we're at with H3, because we haven't talked about H3 in a long time, and I said that I didn't want to cover him again because I truly do think that, like,
I don't know.
He
I
is
know
just,
that he's been fucking slapping.
you know what I
as of
mean?
late.
And I know that I have a lot of crossover audience. And I apologize because I know that this makes a lot of people very uncomfortable. When I talk about Ethan and H3, I get it. It's like a creator you watch talking about your favorite creator, right? H3. But I just have no time for him anymore, if I'm being completely honest. I think there's things I've seen with what he has been doing in general over the last couple months. And I have my personal issues as well. And it makes me really frustrated because I really like the crew. And I know one by one they're jumping ship. And I know they have the most crooked Reddit ever, which is crazy because the H3 subreddit is one of the most nasty places ever. But once Ethan has a different Reddit that talks about him by a lesser degree than what his own Reddit talks about other people, ooh, he gets really sad. Which is just super ironic. And whenever I talk about H3, the conversation of Olivia always comes up because people know I really like Olivia. All I'll say on that is I look at them very separately. You know, Olivia works with Ethan and whatever like that, right? I really like Olivia. I really respect her. I think she is incredibly talented. And if anything, I think that...
Olivia icon, Olivia slay. Olivia like capybara. She's just the best. She queen, she icon, she's 10. We love Olivia.
Olivia is such a standout star on H3 that truly without Olivia they would be nothing, which is why they had to clickbait Olivia basically leaving the podcast when she was just going on vacation a couple days ago. And so I just want to make this very separate. Hashtag free Olivia. Get it trending. Hashtag free Olivia. It's sad seeing her incredible talent and wit and just internet personality being wasted on what H3 is right now. So hashtag free Olivia. I fucking love Olivia. I will always do that. And again, I just want to clarify this at the start because a lot of people will always think when I talk about Ethan that I'm coming for Olivia, and it is nothing of the sort. And actually, anytime I talk about H3, it actually affects my relationship with Olivia. And whenever Ethan was fucking coming at me saying I was basically preying on his mother, it really fucked up my relationship with Olivia. And, you know,
she's a MILF,
nothing was ever said about that from Ethan, so he doesn't give a fuck, and I don't give a fuck about him. And quite honestly, judging by the views versus what they used to get and their subscribers, really no one else does as well. But while there are so many topics to talk about with Ethan, one thing I want to focus on in particular is something that has been brought to my attention from the H3 Snark Reddit. So let's get into it.
Again, cringe fucking virgins, parasocial. Like, yes, I can feel like they've been wronged, but nothing's gonna make me feel overly bad for them, because your whole fucking existence on that Reddit. Excuse me. Your whole existence on that Reddit is making fucking dog shit, parasocial, hateful comments about somebody, again, for existing. Like, some of this parasocialness, they're watching these motherfuckers every move and finding a reason to hate on that. Again, if somebody genuinely fucks up, call it out, go crazy. But these snark Reddits, I've seen on the Travis and Taylor one, say Travis Taylor giving Travis like a sip of her drink, and then the post title would be like, does she not think Travis can do anything by himself? No, I think they're just being a fucking normal couple. Like, that's the level of these snark Reddits. So, if they were a Reddit dedicated to calling people out, great, go crazy, go nuts. But it's not. And, like, none of these snark Reddits ever are. Cringe, losers, awful, horrible, virgins. So sad. So, yes, they can be wronged, but also, you want me to hit this violin? I can play fucking Despacito. I can play fucking... who's big right now? I can play BTS. That one BTS song, you know it. I can play that one. Oh, speaking of, he's got Brat in the background of this. Most dog shit overrated album I've ever heard in my life. Charlie XCX. Toddler music. At me. Call me bad guy. I don't give a fuck. That music's horrible. Anyway.
Now, before this, I'm gonna say that I'm doing Vlogmas, and my second channel is linked down below. I would appreciate you going...
Black Ops seems cooked, so I might just watch this for the rest of it. Especially because this is something I want to pay attention to.
Over and watching. And also, I'm going on tour in February. I'm going to Brooklyn, Chicago sold out, sorry. Seattle, LA has a couple tickets left. Dallas, London, and Dublin. And if you buy a ticket to London or Dublin,
that Dublin show is going to be
and send me confirmation, I will mail you out a signed art card from either London or Dublin. And I can't wait to meet all the muckers. And also...
Set the fucking O'Reilly Theater.
Second channel, Vlogmas, down below. So I saw this on the H3 Snark. Now, what I'm going to say is, this is something that has been very much so sent to me behind the scenes. And I know a lot of journalists are currently talking about this and prepping to write about this. And it was something that I want to talk about. But what I'll say, shout out to everyone coming to the tour. I really appreciate y'all, and I can't wait to see you very soon. Now, I'm going to say that until we get confirmation from Ethan or any of the members of H3, this is all alleged. And the reason that this is even more shocking is because...
Okay. I'm skipping ahead. I'm reading the post down here. Down from H3 Copyright Struck a clip. On YouTube from H3 Show 25, non-paywall. It was of Ethan saying, it's pretty funny though, when Lena was sexually harassed by Wayne Diamond last month. I'm scared that a lot of this argument's not going to be knowing what fair use is. If they're reposting clips with zero... If they're not transforming it in any way, they're not commentating on it, they're not giving any perspective, they're not transforming it into something new. I hate to say it, they're probably in every single right to copyright claim it, because it's their property. You know, if it was a video like this, where someone watched it and said, damn, that's crazy, it's more transformative than just posting the whole clip in full and like that's it. So like, can we prove it's Ethan? No, not that I know of. Maybe we can. I don't fucking know how Reddit works. So can we prove it's Ethan? As of my knowledge right now, maybe, but I don't know. Is it a false copyright strike? I don't think so. It's a pretty scummy copyright strike. I think a copyright strike in highlights is a little cringe. But is he in his right to do it? I don't think so. Oh no, I mean, does he have no right to do it? I don't think so. I think. I mean, it's a full ass clip posted in full based on the title. So, even though it's a highlight, it's just posting footage that isn't theirs and not adding anything to it. So I think it would come under false claims. I could be wrong. Oh, I really wasn't expecting a fucking copyright discussion, but from everything I know, they're not adding anything to the clip, so it is Ethan's property, and he can't. And he can take it down if he wants to. YouTube noticed the removal site the H3 podcast at the channel that fired the takedown, so it was a YouTube clip. I mean, yeah. It's just a repost of his shit. I don't care how short it is. It doesn't have to be the podcast in full. It's a repost. They again. Is it cringe? Yes. Can they not do it? I don't think so. I think they're perfectly within their right to. Contact information was down at H3 Productions, so this is pretty definitively somebody there. But I don't know. My thought would be that they can. Again, very flashbang by this topic, but I mean, they've added nothing, so I'd say it's fine. Cringe,
Ethan
but fine.
Klein. As much as I have my problems with Ethan, even yesterday on my YouTube channel, I was giving him credit for when we were talking about the Do We Know Them lawsuit with Janet when it comes to fair use and copyright. I was giving Ethan praise for how much he fought for fair use on the YouTube platform. And it has really impacted
Ew, that Brat album signed? That means he met the bitch in person? That's crazy.
all of our channels in such a great way. He fought for it. It was this lawsuit, all these different things. So it comes to my surprise when I see the following thread on Reddit. Now, again, I'm going to say this is all alleged, and until H3 come out and disprove this, we don't know the truth.
Adam,
But
respectfully, you have 10
I think
minutes.
it's important to talk about.
You have half
because
of this
the
video.
thread is being silenced, and it's interesting to me that the thread is being silenced. So I open the floor to H3 to debunk this. Let's get to it. False copyright strike tracker megathread. Ethan Klein is abusing the copyright system to censor criticism about himself and the H3 podcast on Reddit. What is the purpose of this post? Now, by the way, this is on the H3 Snark subreddit, just to give them full credit. What is the purpose of this post? We're tracking the false copyright removals on r/H3 Snark, this Reddit, likely being done by Ethan Klein or the H3 podcast. This is all alleged. I'm just reading what they're saying. Why do you think it's Ethan that's doing this? Around the time these removals started, one of our users also received a copyright removal for uploading a 2-minute long clip from a 4-hour-long podcast episode to YouTube, where Ethan said it was funny that his personal assistant, Lena, had been asked...
It doesn't matter how long it is, though. It doesn't matter how long it is. It's his content, and they're adding nothing to it. They're just reposting it. Content found in entire video, because the entire video belongs to them. If it's a false claim, it's a false claim. Dispute it. And I'm sure Ethan Klein, of all people, will be able to tell you exactly what's wrong with that clip. If it is, within his copyright, and you dispute it and he takes it to court, I'm sure he's an expert in telling you why the fuck he took that down. So, I don't think this is Ethan going against his principles so far. I think this is just Ethan knowing copyright law and fair use law.
H'd by his guest, Wayne Diamond, who made misogynistic comments about Lena's chest size. The YouTube notice for removal cited the H3 podcast as the channel that filed the takedown, and the contact information was Dan at H3 Productions. In the legal notice confirming that Dan, Ethan, H3 podcast did take the takedown. Now again, until they come out and disprove this, this is all alleged. But it's not right to not also cover this because they haven't addressed it. You know what I mean? I open the floor to H3 to debunk this. The fucking warriors of free speech, Ethan Klein, to disprove this.
He's not a free speech warrior if you're referring to the fact that he won a fair use lawsuit. It just means he knows what shit is his shit and what shit is no longer his shit. If you've posted the entire video, if there was some kind of third-party H3 highlights channel, he would be in all of his rights to take that shit down, because it's just taking his content and benefiting directly from it without providing anything at all to it, and it doesn't seem that nuanced to me. It just kind of feels like H3 Snark doing what they do best and being really fucking cringe and clueless and delusional. I don't know.
I would be absolutely so happy if they would disprove this, because I would be, while I have my issues with Ethan, right? While I have my issues with Ethan, and while I have, you know, there's so many different things, I really, really, really hope and pray that they are not behind this. But I still think that it's important to talk about this, to bring awareness to it, because it's being suppressed. It's being suppressed. So all I'm going to open continuously is it is not confirmed or denied whether this is true. But it needs to be addressed, because Ethan has been such a person who's spoken a lot about people abusing this system. So again, this is not confirmed or denied. We're talking about it.
I thought that was muted, but I guess not.
Suppressed, and it's important to talk about. I strongly encourage the H3 production to disprove this, because I hope this isn't true, because it basically goes against everything Ethan has ever fought for. Now that we've got that out of the way. The YouTube notice for removal cited the H3 Productions as the channel.
Mama, this is not the whole video though, surely. Okay.
This was done on August 13th, 2024, and other copyright strikes on the subreddit began shortly after September 10th. It is safe to assume that they are being submitted by Dan, the producer of the H3 podcast. This is alleged, right? On October 16th, Ethan shared that he had felt he had zero recourse with Reddit when a user made a post calling out the senior designer of Teddy Fresh for stealing fashion designs from a small indie designer named Ashley Williams London. Teddy Fresh has a long history of stealing designs from smaller or popular designers.
And
please share their opinions of Ethan, since
that's not fair use related at all. It's a copyright dispute. Like, Teddy Fresh stealing designs is not in any way relevant to Ethan copyright striking videos. Do we have any thoughts on that? Because I feel like I'm going insane. A design is not a YouTube video that Ethan Klein has copyright struck, or Dan Swerdlove has copyright struck. Am I crazy for that one? Am I bare delusional? I don't think so. I just think they're fucking making false equivalencies and relating things that do not relate at all. Which, come to think of it, is what snark subreddits are like the experts of. So, mama, this old track, this in character, the fuck are we doing? Why am I here? If you've not got any fucking points, then why am I here?
Were no longer welcome in his YouTube chat, because the chat would either be... And you know what? You know what? This chat makes me really fucking proud that this is my fucking community.
Oh. Hold up. Adam, you're yapping respectfully.
For link.
Okay. Removal count. So it's a Reddit post. Brief summary of the post. This post was a clip from when Ethan had political commentator named Lonerbox. It's a clip. It was a brief few minute section. It was a clip. Do we not fucking know how fair use law works? It's a clip that's adding absolutely nothing. It's not that hard. You can't just take people's shit, upload it to your platform, and then act offended when that person says, yo, that's mine. Yoink. Like, are we fucking stupid? Like, I know these subreddits have as many brain cells as they do members. And probably as many chromosomes, but fucking Christ, dude. I need to see something. Show me something, please.
This was removed by Reddit's legals attacks.
Number 5. It's a Reddit link. Brief summary of the post. This is a brief section of the fucking Christ. This was a brief section of the Loner Box segment where one of Ethan's Lebanese employees, blah blah blah. It's a section of a segment which is a clip of the podcast which they don't own the copyright for. Don't be fucking shocked when someone copyright claims it because you've done fuck all with it other than upload it. What are we doing? What are we talking about? Number 4, this was a 2-minute clip. Number 3, well, that one doesn't even say what it is. It just says the reason this was removed is because this. That's not what the post is. Title though, Ethan talks positively about Celebrity Poker's Poker Tour sponsor. So it's a clip. Ethan and Dan confirming posting to the snark will get you banned. Brief summary of the post. Ethan's been frustrated. Okay, so this doesn't say if it is a clip. But I'd bet quite a lot to say that it is. And if it's a clip with nothing added to it, then it's not yours. Any questions?
Already dwindling audience and fan base. Also,
Number 1. Mega thread, H3 show. This is an automated mega thread with a link to the H3 podcast channel, not an actual video or piece of copyrighted content. This was a clear false takedown. We have no idea why H3 chose to remove this text thread. It took 6 entries to finally get to non-fucking copyrighted material from Ethan. Amazing.
pretty weird approach that creates an echo chamber. And
I would love to see what that was. Do we have a link to that mega thread? Probably not, because it's gone.
So they're
Until further notice, we're going to pause clip uploads. Yeah, maybe because you don't know the copyright and you're getting fucking flagged from because you're a bunch of cringe losers who hate on people for a living.
false takedown. We have no idea why H3 allegedly would choose to take down this thread. This was removed by Reddit's thing, and just to also confirm this one.
Wait, it was removed by what? Reddit's legal operations team. Okay, so that is going to be a H3 thing.
It was removed by Reddit. Okay. By Reddit. Why H3 or this was an
yeah, I'm interested to know about the mega thread. But 6 through 2 really don't seem that they ain't it. Would love to see what was on number 1, but the thread's nuked, so we can't. But yeah, that video, very disappointed by it. I thought there was finally a good point against Ethan for me to disprove, or to agree with rather. But no, I'm not seeing it. Like, the points have not been in the room with me. Do I fucking react to this bitch's video? Probably not. Paige, Christie, kind of dog shit doo-doo ass video. I'm an hour 7 minutes in. That's an hour 7 minutes too long. P1. Okay.
In a friendly-ish way, I guess, Nicholas Diorio. Now, whilst in a live stream, Nicholas Diorio, as he stupidly does quite frequently, ended up showing his inbox on Twitter, to which people had noticed that AB, one of the members of the H3 podcast, was in Nicholas Diorio's DMs. Other members of the H3 Snark Reddit had also noticed that my name was there too. And that started the whole, we don't like Paige, she supports yada 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 Now, I have had a parasocial love-hate relationship with Nicholas Diorio for quite some time.
Talk too much, you talk too much.
This is exactly what I said to Nicholas.
Thank you, Nicholas. Mr. Diorio, Oreo Man. If you striking down posts that are here, watch this mirror and don't give Ethan views, then that's based on best practices. Yeah. Yeah, right. Thank you. I thought I was going fucking insane. Like, it's not theirs. It's not theirs. Oh, Nick, thank you, my dude. I've needed some fucking. That was like a fucking hit of medication. Like, my brain was feeling crazy, and seeing that one DM it's brought me back to life. It's brought me back down to earth. I'm right. I mean, everybody's wrong, and I've probably been wrong a bunch. But about fucking fair use law, I'm right. Hallelujah.
Diorio. Now, I did this because
Okay, you still talk too much, though. You talk too much.
She didn't like their criticism. This is what.
Don't care.
This is
about Nick Diorio. Don't care. Don't want to watch a video about Ethan Klein.
Every snark Reddit's still up, and all the other subreddits like that have been banned.
Well, Nicholas Diorio, there is an entire law, and that I have discussed on this because the pediatrician
This is how I should have watched this video.
Any birth that was in
It'd have gone by so fast.
These your 3 snark subreddit and the moderation team for that subreddit posted, confirmed Ethan Klein hired an attorney to issue copyright claims against the r/h3 snark. On the 17th of December 2024,
and where the bro? I'd bet good fucking money that in the 46 minutes left of this video, there's not a single point. So why am I here? Answer is, I'm not gonna be. That whole video was a fucking dumpster fire. All of it. Terrible. Horrible. Ass. Any point that I thought could have gone anywhere, like the Adam McIntyre one, it just didn't. It just didn't. Again, if there's shit to call out, I happily will do it. Like, I have morals. I'm not fucking buddy with any of these people. I'm not fanboying. Like, I haven't watched Ethan in years. I've nothing to gain from defending him. If you gave good points against him, then I'd have heard those points, taken them in, said, you right about that. Even if you're wrong about the rest of the video, I'd have said, but this one thing, you nailed it. Kudos to you. There was none of that. None of it. So, yeah, I've seen enough. Unfortunately, I would love to come to some kind of middle ground and say, this person did this thing wrong, Ethan did this thing wrong. I guess to balance it out some, I will finish us off with a clip. If I can even find it. Ethan Klein.
He has some anal leaking. It's fun. Someone said, I don't
up.
I don't know. It's offensive. For bottom.
Okay.
So much, but y'all really need.
What did I?
They got it right. The fuck do you know?
That's LGBT bottom stereotype. Hey Matt. So Matt, what have I got wrong?
I know often you feel inclined.
Okay.
How dare you?
Okay. I found it. So, just so anyone doesn't think this has been a H3 dick riding session, first of all, they don't allow shit like that on YouTube. This is something where, no joke, not just saying it for the brand, everyone's wrong, and I hate everyone in this clip for this clip. So let's just get into it.
Okay, we have a call about the top
This is
bottom.
very quiet.
Hey, Matt.
Oh,
So, Matt,
wow.
what have I
That's
got wrong?
excellent, sir. I know often you feel inclined to describe someone where you think they might be a bottom. And I think that that's often a misconception.
Okay. My problem with this clip, I have to introduce it by saying my criticism. Ethan Klein, straight man, right? He don't men's parts. Zero association with his a wife, kids. He ain't in that alphabet squad. He ain't about that lifestyle. He says shit about bottoms, and assumes that this guy's a bottom. And that's one of those things where I don't think that's for straight people. So, like, for the F slur, as people call it, if I'm, like, saying that with some gay friends, perfectly fine, fucking shoot that shit away. But if a straight person ever says it to me, I'm gonna check him on that, and I'm gonna say, not your word. Not for you, thanks. Like, that'll be your one warning. Any other time, it's a fucking HR complaint. It's me fucking losing my shit. Whatever it has to be, you get one. But yeah, Ethan's a straight man. I'm a gay man. That being said, this dude he's talking to is a fucking bottom, and that's why he annoys me so much. It's because he gets so... I mean, I'll show you, but he gets so high and mighty about Ethan's whole position. So they both piss me off in this clip.
That, like, bottoms may be passive or the...
Well, I just mean that he likes...
passive partner.
I just mean that he likes...
Okay. I really don't want to get too detailed because we are on YouTube, but there are some people in that situation that do just kind of lay there. Like, that's what they do. They just let the other guy do the work. And that's fine. They're doing their job. Not to say that they're all like that, but you can just fucking sit there and take it, literally. So it can be a passive thing. Mama, ma'am, girl, do not get all offended because someone says, oh yeah, bottoms can just lie there. Because they can. I've seen fucking tops do it too. They just kind of sit there. Fucking make motherfuckers do all the work. It's not a good system to have where one person's doing all the work, but for some people it works. And, like, respectfully, shut up, please.
Likes to take it up the butt.
But how can you know?
That was a really cursed and pause.
Know that about someone?
Well, that was just
by
a theory about because he wears diapers. It's just a theory.
Oh no, there have been times. I think one that comes to mind was in
I think they're talking about, like, leaking from the butt, and that's why he wears diapers. It's not like a adult baby type thing.
Peterson that you described as probably being someone that would be a bottom. That's the only one I can think of off the top of my head. But, like, I've heard you at times maybe say, like, oh, this is someone that might be a bottom. You can't always tell, like, who's...
But you are. I'm a gay man. You're a bottom. Sorry, girl. Like, that's just the way it is. You know? Tupac.
Top, who's the
So
bottom.
do you find it
It's not
offensive
something
if I say, by being like, oh, he's probably a bottom? Is that the problem? To make...
Absolutely.
It's offensive.
Because the gay men already, you have to deal with certain assumptions about femininity and masculinity.
I mean, it is funny though. I don't know. I think the problem is that the term power bottom is very funny to me. Sometimes, you know, these alpha men
It is kind of
power
funny.
bottom vibes. I think maybe the joke is the dichotomy of, like, their persona of ultra masculinity, but then, like, the joke being that they're a power bottom.
I think the ascription of, like, throwing out that someone is just a bottom, like, because it...
You're a bottom. You are a bottom. You take it in the chocolate starfish, my dude. You're a bottom. Prove me wrong. Don't prove me wrong, because I don't want to see that. But, like, where's the lie? Please, you're a bottom. That's why you're so fucking offended. Because you're a bottom that really doesn't want to be considered femme. You really are. You are. You just are. Right? Listen, you are. And, like, there are femme tops too. But ain't no fucking top coming on here fucking running defense for bottoms. Because you're the bottom. You're a bottom, and that's fine. But don't get all fucking offended by being called a bottom. Don't. Because you are. It's a fact of life. Water's wet. My hair's brown. You're a bottom.
It just ascribing certain roles to people. That's all I'm asking for is just be a little more conscious of it.
So would you consider yourself a...
It's not for straight people to fucking get in any kind of way involved in all of that. But you're a bottom. I'm a gay. 100% gay. From birth. You're a bottom. You're a bottom. Sorry. I hate to break it to you. But something tells me you've known for years. So this isn't news to you. That's going to be me. To be honest. Again, that guy's a bottom. Just stop it. Stop giving us a fucking bad name. Fucking got me out here trying to fucking disown gays. Stop. Stop. Ugh. Okay. Final thoughts. Everybody's wrong. Because Paige Christie's video, horrible, terrible, awful. Again. Oh, wait, actually, speaking of, Mama ain't done. So, Lewis McClung, anyone that missed my old live stream, I just want to put this out there now. Fuck you. You're wrong, and you're bad at research, and you've made another terrible video after the Danky Jobo one. And I'm willing to bet that this 3-hour long one is also horribly researched. So, yeah, fuck you. Do better. Delete channel. You're horrible, awful, terrible, wrong. Fuck you. Delete your channel even harder. Danky Jabo. You're cool. We disagree about you following I'm Alex on Instagram being a endorsement. Because to me it's not like a retweet, but not everyone no lives on Instagram and like unfollows anyone. You know, when someone gets cancelled, their first thought isn't, let me unfollow this person on Instagram. Also, the joke about unfollowing the Annoying Orange was cringe. You didn't have to say it, but you basically said as much. So, thank you, Jabo. Sam, seal of approval. He's cool. He's okay to me. Now I'm done. That live stream was privated, so I just TLDR'd the whole fucking thing. Final thoughts. Paige Christie's video, terrible. Adam McIntyre's less terrible, but there was nothing to it. Ethan, a bit fast and loose with the short jokes, but do want to see why that Reddit thread was taken down. Not sure that we ever will, which is a shame, but I'm going to try be updated on that as much as I can. If, you know, the story about that ever comes out. And, yeah. Oh, Aubrey Smalls. You can change your mind about things, but the way you've done it just reeks of something. It doesn't feel genuine at all. Mika's rhetoric, your video is fucking awful. Like, she didn't even cover it in her video. So, if you want to know how pointless your video is, a 2-hour takedown of Ethan Klein didn't include a single clip where you said anything. So, another live stream that was hard to get through. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope I did a good job holding your hand, getting you through it. And yeah, I think that's me. I will see you guys next time, whenever that is. My schedule's been fucking all over the place. I streamed last week Tuesday, I streamed today Tuesday, but I am actually trying to stream like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, if I can. So, we've not had any sound bites this video, so I'm going to play the one. Oh no, we did have one. That's gay number 2. Gay number 3 if you count me. Gay number 4 if you count Adam. So, so many gays this video.